Good morning, Xbox. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Good Morning Good Morning Xbox, episode 11. Hopefully, I can hold things together and stay on top of my game this morning. Haven't had my traditional coffee, which really blows. I do apologize to everybody in the chat and to my panel members for being late this morning. I overslept, hit the wrong button on my phone, and I was still snoozing. If it wasn't for, I was telling them pre-show, if it wasn't for my cat flicking the toilet seat, because that's what he does inside the bedroom to go get a drink, I'd probably still be late, probably catching some more winks. So yeah, thanks to the cat, thanks to the wife for kind of, oh, you better get up. I'm like, oh dang, I looked at the time, I was like, oh crap, I'm supposed to be running a podcast right now, not in bed. So anyway, here we are without any further ado. And then of course we could have started about 10 minutes ago and Axel went AWOL. So here we are, we're ready to go. It's going to be a fun show. But anyway, let's introduce the panel. Let's start around, and I will again go from top to bottom, and we're going to start with the fabulous one herself. Cool Cat Terri is in the building. How are you, Terri?
Doing fantastic. Good morning, everybody. I hope you guys are ready for another episode. So, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, next to her, we've got the one, the only Scrub Nurse is back and ready to roll.
Morning, everybody. We're glad to be here, have a little fun, talk some gaming, get a little wake up in our system. So get your coffee, get your drinks, and let's go.
That's right. Somebody give me a kick to the balls. Let's get this going. Axel is in the house. Axel, what is happening, sir?
Not much. How are you? Good morning, chat. Good morning, panel members. We're running a little late. Let's get into it.
Speaking of a man who's had probably more than one kick to the balls, it's Eternal Shaddai. How are you?
Good morning, everybody, and also good morning, everybody on the chat. Sorry that wasn't here last weekend, but now today I'm here back to the cell.
Yeah.
And
he was in solitary last week, and he was in solitary last week.
Yeah, he's upgraded. He's upgraded a couple. He must have been a good boy.
Pretty much.
And next we have the old scrotum himself, Cerebral Paul.
Yeah. Actually, like I told you, I'm glad I was late. Gave me time to take a poo before the show. So there we go. Yeah. So
good morning, poo show.
Yeah.
Oh man, great! It's gonna be a good show. I can feel it in my bones. And Doggy Dog already coming in hot with the $1.99 super chat, saying happy Sunday, new panel and chat. Well, happy Sunday to you, Doggy Dog. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here, bro. Thank you so much. Let's catch up with the chat real quick while we still got a small group, just to give them an acknowledgement and thank them for their time. We've got Caitlin. Is in the house this morning. She's one of the first people here outside of Doggy Dog. How are you, Caitlin? Good to see you. Casket Repair is hanging out with us. Caper Grant is in the house. We've got Nix. How are you, Nix? Glad to see you here this morning. We have got Toolman 55 is hanging out with us as well. What's happening, Toolman? And then we have Pang 911. We might have to call 911 the way this show is starting this morning. Your Wicked Hot is in the house. How are you, Hot? Good to see you, my friend. We got Stitch 6669. What is going on, Stitch? We got Cyber Knox is here. So we already got a great crowd. Thank you again, guys, for your support. Crazy Greek Dude is in the building. So love seeing you guys here. It means even more to us, because we're such an early podcast. So the fact that any of you are up and about and tuning in is fantastic. So thank you for that. So anyway, let's get right into the topics and let's find out how everybody's been doing. And I guess most people are probably playing some of the games that are part of the topics this morning, like Flight Simulator and the Ascent. They all came out 2 days within each other. So I know a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people on my friends list deep into these two games, not to mention the Halo Infinite Flight Test, I think is what they call it. So let's just find out. Let's start with, I guess we'll just find out with Flight Simulator, who's been able to try it out, what your impressions are of it, and that sort of thing. And we will start in the order that I introduced the crew, and we'll go with Terri. Terri, have you been able to fly the skies with Flight Simulator?
I have not. It's a game that's not really on my list of things to play. So
it's not on the flight radar, huh?
No, I passed on it.
Fair enough. All right, well, there you go. So she doesn't have a lot to say on it. How about you, Scrub Nurse? Have you flown the skies, and where did you go?
Well, I got it downloaded right now. with the way this week has been going, it's been busy, crazy. I haven't played it yet, but it's ready to go. Like a lot of games coming out this week, some of them got pushed to the side because of this Halo Tech preview. It's on my list. I'm not one of those people who are just big into the simulator genre. It'll be something I want to try just to see what it looks like on the Series X. But it'll probably be a game that I download, play a little bit, and I'll just throw either to my external hard drive, or it might be because it's going to be in Game Pass. I can just download it, uninstall it, and bring it back up. But I've seen many videos on it. It looks great. I've even seen people where they're flying over certain parts and they're seeing cars driving down their neighborhood. So it's real intricate. They put a lot of work in it. It looks beautiful, but you know, it's not the same as having it right in front of you on the screen. So I'm definitely going to check it out, but it will not be anything where I'll just be very in-depth on it.
For sure. How about you, Axel? Have you managed to fly the skies, and where did you happen to go, if so?
Oh, so I've been playing a lot of Flight Simulator actually on the Xbox because I play it on the PC, obviously. So I have a lot to say. If the PC is 100, a 95 to 100, Flight Simulator is like in the 90s. The 92 it got is pretty accurate. If you leave Flight Simulator in the arcade mode, the beginner mode, it works great for the Xbox. For those of us that actually want a flight sim, the Flight Simulator, it's not that great. And I'll tell you why. Because of zoom. So on the PC, I can zoom in and out as far as I need to look at, read buttons, read panels, read whatever I need to read. On the Xbox, so I had already preset my controller on the PC, and so it brought all those settings over to the Xbox, and it did not work. You have to use the default controller setup, and if you change it, you can't navigate menus. So I can't install a super zoom part on it. Also, the views, it only pre-programs 2 views, regular view, cockpit view, and instrument panel 1, but you need instrument panels 2, 3, so forth and so on to continue doing that as far as the flight simming goes. And it makes it hard when you're trying to balance your fuel on some of the long flights if you're having difficulty reading the gauges. A lot of balancing the fuel relies on gauge feedback, and I'm having issues with it. One of my planes was supposed to fly 5 hours. It only stayed in the air for about 3.5 hours because I was having such a hard time balancing the fuel. But other than that, the control is great on the plane itself. It's so fun flying with people, and it looks great. Caper Grant says, maybe only with the controller. Yeah, if I plugged in my flight stick, it resolved a lot of the issues. If I plugged in my mouse, it resolved 100% of the issues. So it is one of those things that Flight Simulator is meant to be played as a simulator, and for the simulator crowd, I don't think Xbox is going to really draw too many eyes. It's still going to be king on PC, especially with the mods. The community mods Flight Simulator to no end. So with all that being said, though, it's just it looks great. It's so much fun to fly with people who have never flown with it and to hear the reactions. And then my Xbox can do 4K output, whereas my PC can't. So it was great to see some locations in 4K. And yeah, like I said, Flight Simulator is still a 9. I have little camera gripes on it, but that's about the only gripe I have. Other than that, it's a perfect port.
Fantastic. Eternal Shaddai, did you hit the sky?
Actually, I did. Actually, when it was first announced that it was gonna go to the Xbox Series X, I never played a flight sim, heard about it, but never caught my attention. So this is the time that I wanted it to give it a try, and I actually did. First and foremost, for my first impression will be the game look gorgeous. The game look gorgeous, is very precise, and I just wanted it to go through the training, a little bit of the training, pretty much of the basics, before I hit pretty much free flight, just trying to pretty much free roam around whatever place you want to maybe. And me personally, I just wanted it to fly over Puerto Rico anyways, just to give it a try. But I hit a road, which is I had a small plane, and first off, I crashed.
If you're hitting a road, you're too low.
I hit the road because I actually crashed. That's why I hit the road. I crashed real fast, just because I was trying to learn the controllers. And like I said, it was my first flight sim, but my first impression, it looks really gorgeous. Also, I felt it felt a little bit complicated. Like I said, pretty much is my first time, because you gotta pretty much play with the buttons, like Axel said, because of the fuel. Keep the flaps in a certain way so you don't crash or make a twirl and then you crash, and you have to actually play around with it to learn the controllers and make the plane pretty much steady. So what I did was, I'm like, heck with it, autopilot, whatever, press the autopilot. So I didn't want to go through that, but also I didn't want to go through that hassle, like autopilot. I love how the engine uses the beam maps. It's very precise. I love everything of it, especially the way that Asobo treat that game. The creators of Plex Tale, they did a great job. They really nailed it. And what more can I say about that game? It's just my first experience. Then I gave it a try a second time, and I managed to actually control my plane. The only thing that killed me was to get the landing. If you don't land correctly, you're crashed also, and calling the taxi. But other than that, I'm very impressed. But it is not for me. I don't have the patience for it. It's really very realistic. So if you have an 8-hour, flight, it's gonna bore you to death. So it's not for me. Good experience for me for a first timer, but it's not for me.
Yeah, perfect. Well said. All right. And last but not least, Cerebral Paul, did you happen to take to the skies at all?
Oh yeah, I've been doing this forever. So since, like I was saying before the show, since the Commodore 64. So yeah, I had it on PC. I couldn't wait to get it on the Xbox so I could compare the two. By the way, Axel, just so you know, especially if you go through the trainings, it'll show you how to move where you're looking in the cockpit using your joystick, using the flight stick, and how to lock onto the controls. So it may make it a little easier for you to adjust some of that stuff on the fly.
Yeah.
Well, I get it. It's just kind of not too intuitive, because on the PC, I didn't go through that flight training, and I figured it all out. It was kind of intuitive.
on the PC, that you also had your keyboard and stuff to muck with.
Yeah,
and you could do the same thing on the console. You could plug in your keyboard on the console and have the same experience. Yeah. I'm just saying that in the training, it will show you how to move around and set views in the cockpit and stuff. That will help with some of what you're talking about.
Paul,
even I had the same problem.
Paul, isn't it true that you took your very first flight test with Amelia Earhart?
No, I was on the field in Kitty Hawk. So,
Oh wow!
Good thing he didn't take his last flight test with her.
Right, brother.
No doubt.
I was the one yelling, "You got this! Go ahead, go!"
Go on without me. Go on without me.
Yeah, but I enjoy it, and I'll tell you, it's my PC isn't the greatest. I've only got a 3 gigabyte graphics card, and it runs okay on the PC. It runs smooth as butter on the Xbox by comparison. I mean, a lot smoother.
Yeah.
And what's nice for me is it's pretty much a play anywhere. If you buy some of the stuff on the PC, it carries over to your Xbox and vice versa. As far as like the graphic packs and stuff they have for Tokyo and the UK and stuff. So it's nice that way too.
Hey, Paul, is this the first time that the flight sim actually launches in the console? Am I right or wrong?
Correct. Yes, this is the
Mhm.
first time it's ever been on a console. Because the controls are, probably took them a long time to figure out the controls for a console. And that's for the controller, not for the flight stick.
Mhm.
My
Right.
flight stick has a few more buttons than your controller does. Basically, a flight stick is both controllers in one hand.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's
Yeah,
what I had
also-
on mine.
Yeah.
Also, real quick, just an FYI, for those of you that are complaining about long flights like Eternal Shaddai, Quick Resume does work on Flight Sim. Even though it's an
Yes,
online
it
game,
Mm-hmm.
I went to work, I turned off the Xbox thinking, okay, whatever. I was just on a quick little 30-minute flight. I came back and the weather had changed and my plane was still in the air and I had to adjust everything.
Oh wow.
But point is, Quick Resume did work, and that's pretty impressive as well.
Yeah. Find yourself in the Bermuda Triangle somewhere.
That's awesome.
I'm very
I-
surprised it didn't crash.
What's funny
Well,
is
that's because I know
what's
how to fly,
funny
Shaddai.
yeah. What's funny is I don't mind the long flights unless they're over the ocean, because if I'm going over land, I got stuff to look at: the mountains, the sky, the clouds, whatever. And so to me, that's all interesting. It kind of takes me out of this house that I've been stuck in forever.
Yeah.
Now, for me, the only thing that it was up close was the trees and the lakes. So that's the closest that I got.
I can see my house from crap. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not how you zoom in the game, Eternal Shaddai. That is not how you zoom.
Yeah.
You know, I just had a chance to try out the little Cessna, obviously, and I flew over my home province of Newfoundland and Labrador, and it's like I said, those things just astonishing, like the attention to detail.
Mhm.
Like I said, it's one of those games you can pick up and get into relatively quickly, but there is a lot to learn, and again, that's why it's called Flight Simulator. We won't beat this topic to death, because it's not the most exciting thing in the world, but it is exciting that this complex game, not only graphically but from a control standpoint, is on a home console for the first time ever.
Mhm.
And like I said, if you're on the Series S and you got your Series X, whichever one, I mean, the game is still pretty damn impressive. Kudos to the team over to Sobo. Doing a heck of a job, and I think it's one of those games that will evolve gradually over time and will only improve. They'll fix a lot of things and it takes a lot of data, and I think somebody said that in the chat as well, that if you got a data cap, because it is consuming a lot of sort of live
heads
data
up on that.
reaction. Yeah.
And just a heads up on that, in case some people don't know, you can turn a lot of that off.
Right.
So that you're not actually live feeding into the internet and pulling information down.
Yeah.
So that could help with the data cap issue. Also, Caper Grant.
Yeah.
I cannot suggest the HOTAS one enough. It is the perfect stick for this, because it's got the throttle in one hand and the stick in the other, and all the buttons are in the right places for easy access and control. So there you go.
Pang brings up a really, and it's funny, because there's different games that draw people into the console environment or whatever, and this happens to be just one of them. It's one of those that it's not a Super Mario Brothers game, it's not Halo, but Pang says this game is maybe even my wife is interested in this game, and it's the first game ever, really. And I saw that sort of that similar tweet, I think it was yesterday, where a guy said, my dad is in his late 60s, never played a game in his life, and went out and bought a freaking console to play Flight Simulator.
Wow.
That blows
That's
my
awesome.
mind,
I saw
because
that.
it was something that interested him enough to go, wow, that's an impressive game, and I need a console and go play this. And that's interesting to me.
I know I saw
Simulator
one
cell
on Twitter
consoles.
about that.
Simulator cell consoles. That's right.
Yeah, this is definitely a studio. If you're going to say, oh, we're going to buy another studio, this would be one up there. They're doing great work with Sobo's doing. They put out in the last year?
Well, they had
two great
Recore.
games.
I know they had Recore, a Plague's Tale, and this one.
Right, and they're coming out with another Plague's Tale,
Mhm.
and they're just knocking it out the park.
Yeah. No, you're right. Like Cybernox says, shows how talented and adverse a Sobo is because they go from a flight sim to an action stealth game with, with Plague's Tale, and then
Very
another
versatile.
phenomenal game that people are kind of rediscovering or discovering for the first time since it came out with the new patch. So, yeah, fantastic stuff right there.
Another thing, I also wanted to test the data connection on this.
Mm-hmm.
So on my PC, when Flight Simulator first launched, I purposely turned off the data to see what would happen. The game would crash, it wouldn't feed, it would stop working. On the console, I purposely did that, and the game just kept running. It just said, "Oh, we're just going to keep trying to connect to the data server, keep flying." So it's really been made really good, really well for occurrences that kind of plagued the PC. You can't quick resume on PC, and you can't unplug the data on PC and still have Flight Simulator. At least I haven't tried it recently. So the console version definitely has some superior experiences.
Mm-hmm.
The PC version has cleaned up a lot since launch, quite a bit actually.
Right.
To the point to where it doesn't take as much space as it used to, too, which is nice.
I downloaded all the world updates. I'm up to like 300 gigs.
Well, a lot of the refining they did for the console got moved over to the PC as well for the main game.
All right.
Hey, Rick Payne, what's going on? Welcome to the podcast here. Thanks so much. Darth Fish is in the house. We have also got Kate Asante is hanging out with us this morning, guys. Thank you for being here. Hey, Fastbacker, our NLG brothers in the house again this morning. Yes, if there were no console shortages, Xbox could have had flights and bundles with SX and stuff. Yes, great point there. You never know. Maybe down the road, it is something that they might consider. Like I said, it's a nice little showcase title, and it's the kind of game, like I said, it's complex but fairly accessible. Like I said, you can go through the tutorials. It teaches you a lot of the main basics, at least to kind of get up and going, and from there, you figure the rest out. And like I said, it can be fun for a lot of people, but it can be a bit of it's flying. It's, have you ever been aboard of a plane in your life? And I'd say the vast majority have. Being inside of a plane is pretty boring for the most part, unless you're flying over some real nice vistas and get to look out the window. But it's kind of slow drudge, and it's one of those things. So
what's going to be a tell with this? What's going to be a tell with this is how many people buy the Maverick Top Gun add-on when it comes out.
Yeah.
As far as I think that's going to be free, isn't it, or no?
Actually, I'm not sure. I would be surprised if it was, but if it is, even so, it'll
I'll
drive up
definitely be
interest
buying it.
again, at least for a while. Yeah.
I'll definitely be getting it regardless if it's free or it's not. Rick Payne says it's free, so there you go.
I wouldn't be surprised that Blue Angels will be included too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're per plane cost. If you look at the store, that's the only thing I don't like is the add-on cost is outrageous. Like $20-$30 for one plane. Yeah, no, I'm not even going there.
No.
I guess everybody's saying that it is free. The Maverick is free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and a lot of the stuff that's in the store, it's actually added content by users. It's user created content. It's not stuff that Microsoft put in there. So we saw a little reaction to that as well. People sort of freaking out. Oh, look at the price of this and that and all this, and they're just taking the people to the cleaners at microtransactions. And I think they're taking it way out of whack, or certainly misinterpreting that.
Well, also, nothing is forcing us to buy that. So it's like, I'm not going to pay $20 for a jet. I'm sorry, I can hold off,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. All right, well, let's move along from Flight Simulator. Glad people are trying it out. And again, if you got Game Pass, it's a no-brainer. Just download it and at least give it a go. Even if you get to fly one place and maybe see some place in the world you've always wanted to visit, it's unbelievably realistic, and it's as close as many of us will ever get. You can fly over a lot of these vistas when you're in a real plane, but how many of you can actually swoop down and perhaps crash into something like Shaddai? So, hey, I wanted to see those. I wanted to see the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Well, let me go right in.
Make it lean some more.
I took what is in the cars. It says everything looks closer in the mirror. That's how I took it.
Yeah. So if you guys wonder why it's now straightened, the Leaning Tower of Pisa is straight. It's because Eternal crashed into it. He straightened it. Good stuff, guys. All right, let's talk about the Ascent. The Ascent came out like basically 2 days right after Flight Simulator dropped, and I'm sure Terry could probably jump in on this one perhaps. It's a phenomenal looking indie. It almost looks so good you would almost say it's not an indie. Like, again, it has that AAA vibe to it, in terms of how it's presented. Kind of reminds you of a shooter mixed in with some Diablo, that sort of thing. And I see a lot of people playing it. The reviews are kind of all over the board. We got some that are really high, some that are really low. Some people are saying that once again, because it's associated with Xbox, because it came out day one on Xbox and is not on the competing competitor, at least as of now, that it's getting review bombed. So how do you guys feel about the game if you had a chance to play it? And do you think the scores are realistically indicative, or are they being inflated? Or perhaps, again, it's that target on the wall because it's associated with Xbox. And I'll let Cool Cat Terri jump in on this one.
All right. Now, yes, this one is a game that I have played. So I enjoy it. I think they did a really good job with it. The world design within the environments are fantastic. They have a lot of detail. The soundtrack is really good. The overall the mechanics are really well done. I really do like the game. It's really good fun gameplay. I do have a few gripes with it though. There's some issues that it does have. There's some audio issues. Sometimes there'll just be like rapid gunfire, just kind of like glitched that's happening when no one's shooting anything. It just doesn't want to stop. I've had that happen. I've had issues with my game crashed. I've had another issue that I have is just more of a personal thing, is the fact that you can't rotate the mini map or rotate your camera, which a lot of isometric action RPGs tend to always have that feature, and this one doesn't. So when you are used to playing this genre and it doesn't have it, it just drives you nuts. So I wish they had that feature. It definitely would make it a lot easier to kind of like look around and find things, because sometimes you get behind a building and it kind of ghosts you to where you can see where you're at, but you can't see anything in the area because you can't rotate the dang camera. So that kind of stinks. But overall, though, the game is very well done, and I do enjoy it, and I definitely would recommend it to people. But it's an isometric game, and not everybody likes that kind of stuff. So if you're already not a fan of the isometric games, you're probably not going to like this one. So just kind of figure out what you like before you try it. Don't just try it because it's popular. If you know you don't like isometric games, you're not going to like it, more than likely. But otherwise, yeah, I would recommend it. It's well done. I haven't looked at any of the reviews, and when it comes to reviews, I feel like people it's always opinion, they never really score things, factually on what's good and what's bad. They're always opinion. So, to each their own. Just play it yourself if you're interested in, and hopefully you enjoy it.
Okay, Scrub, how about yourself? Have you delved into the Ascent?
Yeah, I've played maybe about an hour and a half into the Ascent, only because Halo Flight came out. So I kind of dropped everything once that popped up. But like Terry was saying, I'm not the isometric top-down shooter guy, but I do enjoy this game. The visuals are great. The detail that they put into this game, if you get to an area where you just don't have a bunch of enemies coming at you right at the second, or say you just took out, just stand there for a second and don't watch what's in the foreground. The detail of all the mechanics and the machines moving around, pistons and different things, it's not just, you're bored and everything in the background just standing still. They put a lot of work into that. Also, when you get to certain parts of the stage, how it would sit there and zoom out. It would pan out. They put some thought into this game. Yes, it is a game with a smaller dev team, but I think they did a good job with it. I think technical issues nowadays, you almost have to sit there and just wait for it to happen. A lot of these games, it's not like what it used to be in the 80s and early 90s, where you couldn't use the internet to patch stuff. Your game had to be perfect coming out. And I think that's what we're just susceptible to now. I know Kay Asante and Everborn Saga was talking about that yesterday on their podcast. It's almost like if you want the perfect game, you got to wait a couple of weeks for everything to be patched out and worked. I I heard there were little problems with co-op. I have not tried a co-op yet, but it is fun. I enjoy it. It takes a second. Like you said, if you're not a twin stick top-down shooter, it takes a little second to get used to the controls. But once I did, I enjoyed the game. This is something I do want to go back to and check out and see how far I go. I'm loving it right now. The soundtrack is pretty good. I like the colors in the game so far. And like I said, the detail in the background makes it a little bit more immersive to me. So would I say it's a perfect game? No. I can't say what my rating for the game would be, seeing that I haven't even put a full 2 hours into it yet. But right now, as far as fun and what I've been enjoying so far, I would easily give it a 7.5, no problem. I enjoy it. It's fun. I just got to get back into it. But, Halo trumps everything right now.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's on Game Pass. So if you're interested, you can always download it. And if you don't like it, you can take it off. That's the one great thing about that.
I also want to add that I did play co-op. I played co-op on Xbox, and it ran smooth. I had no issues. I know some friends who played co-op via Steam, and they had all the issues. So that
Maybe
could be
that's
that.
it then. Mm-hmm.
So that could be the thing right there. Another quick thing that I just remembered that I wish they had is they don't have in the settings. They don't have an option to change the brightness and stuff. And I wish they had that because sometimes when you're in the city hub area, some of those neon signs are super bright in your face, and I hate that.
Yeah.
And I wish I could kind of tone it down a little, and I can't. So that's just a small gripe that I also have.
Okay, Axel.
Well, I didn't play the Ascent, but I feel like I experienced it secondhand via NLG, the
You're not a real
NLG
gamer.
crew, because all I heard them saying was like, "Oh, I died. How do I shoot? Oh, if I die, everybody's gonna die, so I can respawn." Blah blah blah. Just throw a little shade over there to Fastback and HTK. But yeah, no, I didn't play the Ascent yet. I was too busy with Death's Door, Flight Sim, and Halo. But it's on the backlog.
Yes.
Nice.
Growing backlog, yes.
Ever growing, yes.
Well, Axel, since you haven't played it though, how about the sort of the crap storm that follows a release like this, where for months it gets sort of, I guess, overhyped? Perhaps is it a victim of perhaps that overhype, or do you think again it's the target of people just wanting to bash this game largely because again it's associated with Xbox as another title, a feather in the cap, so to speak?
So I am of the belief that there is media bias against Xbox. A lot of these younger reporters, they grew up in the PlayStation 2 era, so obviously they have a preference of console. And some of them, it's very obvious that they cannot put their bias aside. I don't know how the game plays. I don't know anything. But if a game is launching with co-op issues and you advertise co-op, if a game is launching with hard to understand mechanics, like the NLG guys had a little bit of trouble understanding a little bit of the mechanics, it does tend to derail a game. Now, should it derail it 40 points on a 100 scale? I don't think so, because the game still looks great. The game is still has a great soundtrack. I'm not sure on the story yet. And it really comes down to the controls. Like, how does the game control? If people feel that they're dying cheaply, or if the game is really hard and not well balanced, it will get reviewed lower. Now, if it's hard because that's the way the game was designed, and there's ways to avoid dying, yeah. But from what I was listening and hearing, you don't have enough movement to really not die, and enough firepower to clear fast enough. So, like I said, I'm unsure at this point because I haven't played it.
A lot of dodging.
Yes, a lot of dodging, a lot of moving. And sticking with your partners, which is something we tend to get separated a lot, but I'll talk about my reaction in a minute. Let's go over to Shaddai. By the way, Shaddai, really nice hat, man. Is that a brand new one?
No, I think I had this, our first intro, when Terri had her, her beanie. So yeah. No, I
She
haven't.
always has her beanie. You need to be more specific. Okay.
That is actually true.
Which
But
beanie are you
this
talking
one,
about? Are you talking about the
this
black
one,
beanie
gear,
or the black
the
beanie?
gears,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
gears one.
Hey, I have a white one too. Dang it!
Oh wow.
Look, she's got it right there. She's got like a friggin' hanger, probably full of beanies over there.
I actually do. I have a rotating thing. It's
Oh my god,
Yeah,
that's
she
awesome.
just read my
That's
mind. I'm
Thomas,
like,
Terry.
Well, there you go. There's a great contest idea. Remember how I said about Axel's changing things on the wall? That's what we'll do. Is Terry have to put on like a certain beanie for a certain episode, and you have to be able to go back and tell us which beanie.
all
she
kinds.
had
I got beanies for Ninja Turtles, Harley Quinn, Assassin's Creed, like Mass Effect. I got Puerto Rico. I got the Union Jack. I got everything, man.
Ah, damn.
But do you have the Sonic beanie with the spikes on it?
No, but I have one for Fairy Tale. Does that count?
There you go. We found out something about Terry today. Big beanie collector. Nice. Oh, great. How about you, Cerebral Paul? Have you had a chance to go deep into the Ascent?
Yeah. Only solo though. So all my view is solo. Let me just say accessibility. Yeah, they didn't even think about it.
Left it right out of there, eh?
I mean, and actually, Terry mentioned part of it. The fact, the ability to adjust the brightness and whatever, that's an accessibility feature.
Mhm.
As well as being a regular game feature in most games. Because, like, she doesn't like the bright lights. Some people can't handle that. They need to be able to tone that down a bit or turn it up so they can see in the dark spaces like I usually do. It's like, what is that? Oh, it's somebody shooting at me. Never mind. But it's so quick. It for me, solo, it played all like Quake Eternal. Where they're not Quake, but what a Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
me.
There's a lot of having to move and jug and jump and kind of stay out of the way of getting swarmed. Having the guys run up behind you and beat you over the back of the head with a bat that apparently you can't turn around fast enough to hit because they stay right on your back the whole time. It's like, okay, sure. And there's no difficulty settings. It's very much for me, it felt very much like a roguelike game because it is basically you die, you come back, but you continue to level and you come back stronger. Heck, I'm stuck on the second main boss and I've probably died to that thing like 40 times. It's like after a while it gets where I don't want to do this anymore. Why am I doing this to myself? And at that point, I still want to try it in a group with people. But as a solo game, because it says you should be able to play it solo, yeah, that ain't happening. So that, I mean, at this point, I'd probably give it a 7, maybe. But that's without the multiplayer.
Yeah.
So, and people have said in the chat, it's very unforgiving as a solo game. It really is, at least for me.
Yeah, I only played it with friends, but I can see how it would be because some of the spaces are pretty tight and you get a lot of enemies, and also trying to frantically shoot in that isometric space with the twin stick. A lot of times you're hitting, a lot of times you're missing.
And the quote aim assist is non-existent. Okay, if anybody's trying, the gun still flies around like nobody's business.
Wait, they have aim assist?
There's a thing that says aim assist. I don't know that it actually does anything, but it's there.
It makes your aim will still be off, but the bullets will still hit the target.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Another thing I want to add real quick that kind of ties into accessibility that I have an issue with is when you change the main color of your character. Now, this isn't going to really affect people playing solo so much, but those that are playing cooperatively, when you change the main color of your character for like your clothing, whether it changes the color of like your circle around your character and the little marker on the mini map, like your radar. So depending on what color you pick, they can't see it. So like my friends have a hard time seeing each of us because some colors blend in too much with the red radar. Other colors blend too much when the radar turns green. So we're having a hard time finding colors that they can see so they can, look at the radar and know which way we went. So that's a huge issue right now that is also problematic. I tried.
Yep.
I think right now I made my character, my main color white, so they can kind of see me everywhere, because we were changing all the different colors, and it's like no matter where we went, there was always some point where we were like completely invisible. So that was problematic.
Yeah, and I've seen issues, and I have some of the text is really small on some of the stuff that pops up, and there's no way to adjust it. There's just a lot of accessibility issues. I did see Ains posted, and I wish I could find the post quickly. That you can adjust in the settings the color of the enemies so that they stand out a little more, or something like maybe that was for Halo. I don't know. Yeah, I think that was for Halo. But yeah, there needs to be more accessibility settings, because this, like she said, especially if you're colorblind to red and green. Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Good.
No doubt. I'll come in and just quickly say, like I said, I have barely tried it. Just got into it the other night. Played it with Sass and Lupin Dark Practice as a co-op game. Again, and they're a ton of fun. Again, it very reminiscent of playing games like Diablo, with the exception of, it's gun based as opposed to, swords and magic and stuff. So perhaps it's a little bit simpler on the surface, but the game looks outstanding. The first thing you notice, and I think we've always noticed ever since our first trailer, is that there is an amazing amount of detail in a game like this. They're very impressive. You got to give them a ton of credit for what they've been able to do with a small, I think it is 12 person team. So they did a pretty good job. Again, it is really meant to be played co-op. Mind you, like I said, maybe they'll have to adjust the difficulty spike a little bit as if you are going through this on a single, because not a lot of people like to play with randoms. And I think that's super important, is to make games fairly accessible, even if you are slugging through them on your own, because if you're getting stuck early, it's not a good sign to want to continue. Like so I'm enjoying the game. I haven't played enough, like Scrub said, to kind of really go in and give this, an in-depth review of it per se. But I will say I am enjoying it. I think it's a great game. It's a fun game overall, and it looks amazing. It's got some great music playing in the background. Character design is also a little bit limiting as well. But otherwise, again, like Apex is saying, it's not perfect, needs some patches, but overall, I think the consensus is most people like it. And I'm not really going to bash the reviews that I kind of have seen and read. I won't say much on it, because I think for the most part, it seems fairly accurate. I mean, this game will probably hover between a 7, perhaps an 8 for most people. It is solid. It doesn't blow you away, but it definitely is another welcome addition to the games library, to Game Pass. And there you go. Another fantastic shooter, another fantastic, action-based shooter that people can play, and don't have to worry about, whether they spent, 40, 50, $60 on something they're not going to enjoy, because there you go. It's in Game Pass. So no harm, no foul kind of thing. And there you go. And again, and there's another beauty of Game Pass right now, because I, as you guys probably know, or just finding out, I finally got Game Pass, and I'm seeing the benefits of it firsthand right now with another game that I probably likely would not have purchased, or would not have been able to afford to purchase right now, especially with Microsoft Flight Simulator and everything else, and Psychonauts 2 around the corner. Like, that's a lot of money in the run of a couple of weeks, and I definitely saved some money, and I still get to enjoy some fantastic games. So, I mean, how much better does it get than that? You can't sum it up. There's so much to play on Game Pass, so much choice. It's great. So, here I am, guys. The new Nukem, who was so dead set against it, is now, is singing the praises. I see the benefits firsthand. So there you go.
Check is in the mail.
Check is in the mail. Indeed. So I like the Ascent. I give it a big thumbs up. I hope that everybody will play it. I hope it's one of those games that gets, some playtime after its initial launch as well, and just doesn't kind of fade into the background, because they definitely are on to something here. And look forward to seeing what this team does in the future. And hopefully, like I said, they can patch it up, fix it a little bit more, which I'm sure they will do in due time. But it's a lot of fun. Go give it a try. If you got Game Pass, like I said, go download that sucker. Hit a friend up. You can play it with 4 people and just go blast some stuff. It is pretty neat. I'll say that.
I think part of it, too, is, I don't know if they knew when they did the release date that they were going to do the Halo flight test the same weekend.
Yeah, there's a bunch of games came out this week that it kind of pushed it to the side a little bit. It sucks, but it's definitely worth trying out.
Did I get to everybody or did I miss somebody?
Nope, you did it because you did it in order. So
Yeah, you got everybody.
I just want to make sure. All right, let's look at the private chat.
Shaddai, I think.
Did I get you on this one, Shaddai?
No.
No.
Oh, we did skip Shaddai. Ooh.
Darn it! Oh, I was gonna say because well, let's get
If
back
I
to
the
the
private chat, I've been giving him a hard time about it.
Pretty much.
Poor Shaddai.
No,
That's your privilege. You gotta, it's those prison privileges, right?
that's the same thing that Axel said. I'm being recorded, so.
Yeah, you're just coming out of solitary. You don't get all those privileges right away.
Yeah,
This isn't going to bode well in your parole board. Just saying.
Well, what can I say about the Ascent? I have played so far for 3 hours and 15 minutes, and it feels very slow paced game. The game does have a really good animation and graphics. I was really actually surprised by it. And on the gameplay, the X button and the right trigger are both reloading, which is kind of odd to have it like that, especially when you're using the right analog stick pressing down to actually throw the grenade and actually detonating that at the same time. That could have been used for the X button. That's just my suggestion. But it feels kind of odd to have two reloading buttons, two buttons for reloading, which that's kind of odd to have it like that. And also the Ascent is just another perfect game for Xbox. So to add more variation to the library.
Mm-hmm.
The slow pace is what actually pushed me a bit away also, knowing that Halo beta was there, so that actually pushed me away from that game. So that's my take on that. Would I play it a little bit longer? I think not. I think not. Like Noob said, there's another game coming in, coming hot, which is Psychonauts 2.
Mm-hmm.
So that is gonna be pushed really, really, really far away. So that's my take on that one.
They could have used those triggers for rotating the camera. Just saying.
Not only that, and I did encounter a little bit of a problem, and I was walking through a little hallway, and there was a box in the middle. And I was trying to cut through because there is a swarm, of enemies, and I couldn't pass through between the entrance and the box. It was like an invisible wall, and I got murdered by it. So,
well, we know you have trouble with boxes, should I?
Boxes and roads.
Yeah, pretty much. So I had to pretty much press A to evade as much as I can, but I guess the little guy kind of got tired and stood there and got murdered. So I'm like, that's okay. That's okay. The game is good, but it's not for me on that one either. That's one of those that when you don't have nothing else to play, you're like, let me go with this one.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, all right. I think we've pretty much covered the Ascent. Like I said, it's a decent game. I think that's a consensus all around from the panel. You should definitely go try it. Maybe you'll love it. Maybe you won't. But that's the beauty of it all. So go and give it a try and see how you like it. And maybe you never know. We might get a sequel down the road. Who knows? Let's get to Cool Cat Terri. It is now that time of the day when we're going to get into the indie spotlight.
Woohoo! Woohoo! All right. So this one, I decided I want to try to get, I had a few games that were recommended to me from different individuals, so I want to try to fit some of those in before I forget about them, and so the people who made recommendations don't feel like they've been ignored. So one of the first people that actually recommended a game to me was actually Eternal Shaddai. And so I'm going to cover a game that we were, we attempted to play together. But it was a lot of fun. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to show you this trailer real quick, and then I'll kind of talk about it a little bit. And I'm sure he's smiling big right now. But let me just share my screen.
No problem.
Yes, I am.
All right, everybody. Okay, so there it is. It's a Bartlow's Dread Machine. This is a game that Eternal Shaddai had requested. We were going to play together because he saw that it had co-op, but mistakes were made on Shaddai's part. He didn't look to see that it was couch co-op. So
I apologize. I apologize.
so he failed, but the game is actually really, really fun. It's a twin stick shooter style. You have like the think of like your old like World War I style toys that are made out of like tin. So it's really, really cool. You have to stay on the rail, so you have to be a little bit more strategic with how you're going to move around, because you can't just go freely. If enemies start coming on those rails, you're going to get cornered in quick. And it actually has some pretty good difficulty levels on there, so you can make it pretty hard. As someone who plays most of my games on hard difficulties, I couldn't do it on this one. This one was too hard, so I had to dial it back.
You know why? Because she couldn't pass mission 1 for a long time. And I was already mission 3.
But it's a really, really cool game. It's on Xbox and Steam. It retails for $15. It's a nice little action adventure game. You can play by yourself, or you can do couch co-op with a friend if you do that kind of thing. But yeah, go ahead and check it out. It's definitely pretty good.
Wow, another interesting game. Again, every week these indie games just keep impressing me. I'm like, how did I miss this? Like, that actually looks like a ton of fun, actually.
Oh yeah.
I'm not surprised that Shaddai really likes it, though, considering the characters have a stick up its ass.
Wasn't expecting that one.
It has some decent humor, too. Actually,
the creators of that game is actually Beep Incorporated, which are the creators of Voodoo Vince. So that's how I kind of...
that's one of my favorite games.
Right. So actually... since I follow them on Twitter, I saw that, and when I bought it and played it, and since Terri loved indie, so I recommended her that, and the rest, the couch co-op thing, I couldn't play with her, but it is actually difficult.
Yeah. You should have made him buy a plane ticket and come play with you.
There you go. Shaddai can't make it there, so he'll send you an actual couch.
Yeah, there you go.
And a cardboard cutout of himself. There you go.
Hey, but the only way that we got the chance to play together is pretty much like, Terri, where are you at? I'm stuck in here. Okay, where we at? So we started pretty much at the same time to see if we could finish at the same time. That's the only time that we, it felt somewhat co-op. So trying to call it out for every move that we make.
Nice. There you go, guys. So make sure you check it out. Again, it was a Dread Machine. Bartlow, is it?
Bartlow's Dread Machine, yes.
Mhm.
Bartlow's Dread Machine, for
You-
those who are still wondering. Go back
You
and
play
check it
as
out.
Secret Service. You play as Secret Service members trying to save President Roosevelt. So
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like
Cool.
ATL in the chat's like foosball with guns. It's definitely
Foosball's the
yeah.
devil.
When you say an on rails shooter, that one literally is on rails. Like
Mhm.
literally. I love the art style though. Like I said, that's the thing that sticks out to you immediately. It's almost like a mix between cardboard cutouts and yeah, it's interesting. It's really cool.
the music is great too because it really makes me think back to like the old like penny arcade kind of stuff. So I liked it.
All right, let's catch up with the chat real quick. Cyber Guntery's in the house. Hey, Mary and the Mad finally graces with his presence. What's up, Mary and the Mad? Hope you're having a great day. Dan the Man Cunningham is here as well. I see our NLG brothers in the house once again. Mr. Mike Mullis graces us with his presence this morning. Dragon Wolf is here. Hey, the other half of Fun Speculation now. We got Mav in the house. What's going on, Mav? Glad that you're here and enjoy your chores today. All that stuff. Apex is here. Regulators in the chat. We got DBZH and Koo. What's going on? Man, the great crew already this morning, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Let's move on to the next segment of the day, and or the next topic, and then we'll come back with some more. So yeah, let's see where we're at. I seem to have lost my train of thought and my tracking here. It's gonna be 1 second. Let's talk about the next one, and that is the Halo beta, I guess, if you will, or whatever they're calling it, the flight test. Let's get everybody's reactions on this particular one. I know everybody's been really involved in this. This was part of the reason that Flight Simulator and the Ascent have not been getting played so much, because I see a lot of you guys out there busting caps in this game here. So who wants to take the reins on this? We'll go around. Whoever wants to jump in first and give their thoughts. I have not played it, so I will not have anything to say on it.
I want to hear from Terry first. Terry, what do you think of Halo Infinite?
I feel
There
that
you
it's
go.
a game that I'm not going to install. How about that?
Ooh. Hot take.
Oh man, boo!
Go ahead, Axel.
Go ahead, Scrib.
Okay. Well, I'm having tons of fun. What they brought out. Well, I'll start with this. With the Halo team actually coming out and letting everybody play, well, as you got in this tech preview and saying that we're interested to see what videos you put up, what you post to Twitter, and then actually letting people also stream it, to me, lets me know they're very confident in what they have with this multiplayer. Because this was, I wouldn't even call it a real beta just yet. They have put a lot of work into it. Yes, you're going to have your hiccups, but that's already understood. We're playing to help them fix and let them know what's coming out. The game looks great. It is very fluid. You can get up to your Series X up to 4K 120. What they have done with these bots and the AI on here is ridiculous. If they can pull this off and put this also in the campaign, we are going to have some fun, or some other folks are going to have some broken controllers, because with these bots that you're having, because most of the time you're thinking, all right, I'm gonna play some bots, this will be easy. And in fact, when you first started playing this tech preview, it was very easy. KD ratios are through the roof. And then it was just funny how it changed about midway yesterday afternoon. They went to ODS T level, and you can tell a big difference. I remember one guy had lined up and he started ducking every shot like he was Muhammad Ali or something. It just shows the detail. It's almost looked like, to me, it seems like they had a lot of time to use, especially maybe with the pandemic and play testing, that they used a lot of their pro guys and just pattern what they do, how they throw their grenades, how they duck, how they jump around on the screen. It's great. They still have to go to Spartan level. I don't know if they'll do legendary as well, but they have put a lot of work into this game. The game is fluid, feels good. The shooting mechanics, I think are great. A lot of people, I also was hearing as far as coming from Halo 5 multiplayer, and they're using that big time dash mechanism. It's not there, but the slide mechanics are great. Um, I think what the gravity hammer. I think the difference on that one is you have to be up a lot closer than you had in other multiplayers where you could just spam close enough to them and it get everybody. This one you have to be pretty good on your accuracy. Another thing that I will throw in there just to point it out to other people who are thinking about it and haven't pulled the trigger. This week I had ordered my controller on Design Lab. It came out, looks great. This is an
Hold that
Xbox.
sucker up. Let's see that beauty.
Oh yeah, I know it's a little bright on there, but this is the Xbox Series X controller I got from Design Lab, and I did that so it would match my gamer tag. So you got gamer tag controller kind of matches up with that. I switched to this for one game. It does not compare to this thing right here, this Elite controller. If you have an Elite controller, don't go to this. If you have a chance to ever get an Elite controller and you like quick, twitchy shooters, or you just like to have something else, get this controller. It's a big difference. I haven't used a regular Xbox controller in almost 2 years. I could tell a stark difference. So it also showed me how great that Elite 2 controller is. The feedback is good. I enjoy playing. I know some of us are in the chat that I played with last night, and I just had a ball. I'm gonna continue to do a little bit more playing with it today. If you get a chance to do whatever you can with this game, there'll be other weeks that this will testing will be out. So if you didn't get in this time, or if you hadn't signed up to try to get in and you're interested, please do. This is not like I think this will, if they keep getting better, especially with the AI, this will pull a lot of people away from other first-person shooters.
Right.
This is getting me more hyped up for the old Halo multiplayer when you were getting when that was the first-person shooter. That's your go-to game was Halo. That's the feelings I'm getting back. I was hardcore, more first-person shooter, Halo 3, and then coming down to 5, I kind of backed off, played more campaign and just a little multiplayer. But I know 1, 2, and 3, that's all I was doing every year and having fun, and it brought those feelings back to me. So I enjoyed it. It's going great so far, and the team had done a great job.
Yeah, we've seen some people talk about the difficulty of the bots in this particular game so far, and Stitch addresses it here in the chat by dropping a $4.99 super chat. Stitch669. They have adjusted the difficulty of the ODST bot on every update. If Spartan is supposed to be more difficult, some people might just stop playing.
Yes, and I will attest to that. When they first brought out ODST bots, I was like, oh my God, I don't know if this is going to work. But then yesterday, I can tell, depending on the map, sometimes they were harder, sometimes they were easier. But you get some of those bots with pistols in their hand. One match, I think they were pretty much playing with all pistols, and they were just headshot after headshot. So but what I will say for people who are wondering when they're saying you're talking about this is hard, this is easy, what is your level of play? Like I said, this is my first time getting really serious back in the Halo multiplayer in a while. When it was on any difficulty below ODST, I was getting closer to 2-to-1 KD ratio. With ODST, I was about even or a little bit above even on KD. So if they're that strong when you're playing regular people, it'll be a totally different thing. With those bots, they're not close to pro level, but they're pretty much masking people who are just great at the game anyway.
They're trying to get you ready for when the real challenge begins, right?
Oh yeah, you can definitely tell it.
You got all those crack shot Halo veterans coming in there, like Axel.
I don't know if I'm as good as Shaddai over here. Shaddai is better than me right now at Halo 5. So first off, this game looks incredible. The texture work looks incredible. You can shoot walls again and have some bullet holes in the wall again.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been able to do that in the 343 Halos basically ever. The sprint mechanic got improved. Now you don't have this pause between stopping the sprint and shooting.
Yes.
If you see someone while you're shooting, you can literally just pull the trigger and your Spartan will automatically stop sprinting and start shooting, whereas before there was a pause. Switching weapons has also been sped up. The game feels faster, a lot faster. Also, and this is a big problem I have. I turn my aim assist down on almost every Halo because if you do predictive shooting, like if someone's going across your screen and you have an aim assist on and you shoot over here, aim assist will make your bullets go over here, but by that time they're over here and you miss. That's not a problem on Halo Infinite. Predictive shooting stays on target. So it's a lot better on that point. I love that fact that they're not having us play each other. They're having us test their bots, their AI first. I feel that it makes it a lot more enjoyable because you're not raging at, some guy or blaming somebody for having hacks or something or another, right? So playing the bots, I think, is actually more enjoyable. And the fact that, on day one on Twitter of the bots, it's like, oh, if you lose to the bots, you might as well turn in your gaming card, blah, 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 all this stuff because they were so easy. And then ODST bots came out, and boy, that tune changed real quick.
Yeah, they had to nerf them a little bit.
Well, I mean, I actually kind of feel that it's almost adaptive difficulty because I was playing with Dreadpool, and when we would do really good with ODST bots, not really good, like we would win the round by like 5 or more points. They would up the difficulty, and suddenly we would lose by 10 points.
Wow.
And then it would drop it down again. And it was kind of this whole balancing act that they were trying to do to the players, I feel. But eventually, after about the third hour of playing, I figured out the bots. We figured out the bots, even the ODST bots. And, AI is AI. They're not adaptive like humans are. We found their shortcomings and we exploited the hell out of them. So it is possible to go ham on the ODST bots.
You must share.
You're not going to win everything. There are some. If those ODST bots get that overshield, it's over. It's going to take the whole team to take down that ODST bot. And I kept telling Dreadpool, I kept telling like I feel like some of these bots, 343 Lock was the bane of my existence.
Oh yeah,
343 Lock was the bane of my existence. That bot. He was like Agent Smith on the Matrix. I would shoot him. He would move this way. He'd move that way. He'd duck. He'd jump. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy's like an agent in the Matrix. Nothing can hit him. He knows exactly how to move. But like I said, eventually I did figure out how to make him move where I wanted him. Yeah. So, all this is fun. The grenades, if you're level with them, they don't miss. Their grenade throws are pretty good. Yeah, but they can't adjust their grenades vertically. So if you're on a higher or lower platform, they miss. The ODST bots did. So I exploited that as well. The fact that they couldn't throw grenades vertically, adjust vertically for them. But overall, I had such a good time. The movement, Shaddai can probably attest to this. The speed jumping, the slide jump movement. Where you can reach platforms higher than normal, where you can get to places faster than normal. It's been tweaked. It's not as good as it was in Halo 5, I feel, but it has been tweaked. And I absolutely despise that they made melee the right stick. Oh my God, I hate that.
I went to Legacy, and that's the only way I did that. Go to Legacy, use that right bumper.
Yeah. I had to put my Elite controller on to make one of the paddles the melee button. And also they got rid of, in Halo 5, you can do dash dodging to the side or backwards or forward or something. They got rid of that, and it did take a little getting used to it to know that, hey, that's not in this Halo. Yeah. So once I got used to all that, I ended up having a really, really good time. But yeah, not having the melee button as right bumper, that's a Halo sin, in my opinion. So that's the only complaint I have. But overall, man, I'm having such a good time. And they release a new map with every update. So you get to have a nice mixture of it. And the maps
Mhm.
are not super large right now.
No.
You know, in the old Halos, especially Halo 5s, I felt that the maps were really stretched out, made big. And I think that was because of the sprint mechanics and the movements. And so on this one, they're smaller, so you can actually, if you tag someone, you can actually expect someone to get there to respond to your tag instead of like, oh, I'm all the way on the other side of the map, I'm going to ignore it.
Mhm.
It's easier to work as a team. So
Yeah.
I'm loving Halo Infinite Flight. It's definitely more fun than I was anticipating. It's harder than I anticipated, which I love, but at the
Mhm.
same time, it's faster. It's just faster, like, and it's smooth on the Xbox Series X. It is silky
Mhm.
smooth.
Mhm.
I feel like the excitement is genuinely coming back for Halo here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Everybody's excited for Halo because I think they finally nailed what 343 was trying to do and what Bungie left behind.
Mhm.
That's a good way to put it. Mm-hmm.
And I think they're finally merging the two worlds perfectly, as they said they wanted to do.
That's a great
So
statement
yeah, I'm
right
loving
there.
it. I'm loving it.
They nailed
Did
what Bungie
anybody
tried to
see the
do.
video of the bot teabagging someone that just finished killing?
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Oh, I'm saying if the bots are doing this, man, yeah, they're definitely
disrespect,
patterning off
man,
of
the
pro
disrespect.
players. It was ridiculous.
That's great.
It's so fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm wondering, Cerebral Paul's been very quiet since coming back from his delivery. Cerebral Paul, what'd you get in your delivery? Was it a bag of Skull chewing tobacco? And your mic is muted, I think. Anybody else hear him?
No, he might not be plugged in. Something's
No,
going on.
I can't hear him.
Yeah, I don't hear Cerebral
All
Paul.
right, well, Cerebral Paul is troubleshooting. Shaddai is next, right?
That's right. Shaddai.
Hello, Shaddai.
Oh no, I'm here. No, because I see
Oh,
Paul
okay.
trying to talk, so I'm like,
I say, what the hell?
no.
My mic times out if I'm away from it too long.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I was gonna say you're down there chewing away like a big squirrel.
Yeah, hey, I'm hungry. What can I say? At least I muted myself.
There you go.
Well, let's bring Shaddai in first, and we'll come back to you here in a second, Paul. So, Shaddai, how do you feel about the new, the Halo tech test so far?
Well, actually, for me, Halo had a bit of a rough start. I had lost connection multiple times on my game, and one time my game froze. So we already know, it's just a beta, but those are the issue that I experienced when the game actually works. The gameplay is solid.
Mm-hmm.
The visuals have improved immensely. That's the way I feel about that. I found that the battle rifle is more stable and the sound of the shots is different than the other battle rifles from Halo's past. It sounds way better. It sounds way better. Very precise. Very clean.
Mm-hmm.
They actually nailed it on the sound side. I found out that the shotgun is a good weapon, but found out that the reach is very long. So
Which shotgun? The heat wave or the other one?
not the heat wave, the regular one.
Yeah. It's
The
nice.
regular one. It's nice, and I found that the reach is very long, so they need to notch pretty much mid range. It has a feeling of Halo Combat Evolve for me. The abilities doesn't activate automatically like Halo 5. You have to press the right bumper to activate it. If you get killed,
Red bumper is melee.
Yep.
if you don't activate that on time and somebody kills you before it activates, you will lose it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to do it manually. Let me see. I found out that the overshield gets depleted quickly compared to the previous ones.
Mm-hmm.
That it actually sticks a little bit longer, but I saw the bar going a little bit depleting faster, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is not how it used to be. so it's kind of depleting a little bit faster. So now it's like once you lose the overshield, it's gonna be faster. The bots on the game is like playing with like jackals. That's like the new, the new gang on on the block. Like like Scrub says, they are really good with the pistols, like really, really good. Scrub can actually explain, he could actually explain how he got murdered by 3 people. They always kill him, tag teaming.
Oh
They be
yeah,
tag teaming him left and right last night.
yeah. They're good at playing together as a team. You run around the corner, there's usually not one person. It's going to be 2. You might get one, but you're not getting both of them. It's rare unless one back is turned.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, to make it more simpler, the bots will go for the weakest link. So
always, if your shield is down, those bots will ignore everybody in front of them and shoot you.
Yeah.
Once they found out that you're really good at it, and you got a lot of kills, they'll go for the weakest link. So they went, to Scrub.
Oh yeah, I was still in COD mode when I started playing yesterday, and just there's 2. Let me charge them. That it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
Scrub living up to his name.
Oh yeah, like I said, you give me lower level than ODST, I'm a god. But ODST, I'm just a normal man.
He might be a scrub, but nobody's gonna nurse him on that one.
Oh, yeah.
So, for what I think is that 343 is actually going to the right direction now. But I would like to know how they will execute on the campaign now. How will they improve it from Halo 5?
Right.
That's something that is running through my mind about that one. Multiplayer is one thing, but how will you execute the campaign and the story and improve it compared to the one from Halo 5? I was going to look for another word for it, but I'm not going to say colossal, but how they're going to improve and make it better. I know they say the Banish, but how they're going to transfer that one to the Banish. And that's what I think about that game. I'm ready to play again, though. I want that bigger, harder difficulty for that multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
Could you guys imagine playing heavies with these bots? They are not going to miss a single warthog shot ever.
My goodness. No. And the thing is that sometimes they're, not Scrub is one thing, he gets murdered, being all ganged up and put him into a corner. But for me, actually, their grenade is crazy. I'm like, I know I missed this grenade. All of a sudden, it blows behind me, and I'm like, what? I'm like, they're not only on the shots, but on the grenade, they're really good. They really go have accuracy on that.
Well, that's the trick in older Halo multiplayers. If you were playing against some guy, most people when you fight them, they back up. They don't charge you. So what you do is you always throw that grenade a little bit past them, and they'll usually back in right into the grenade. And when I saw the bots first doing this, I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. And that was just showing me that AI is very great. They have definitely upped the game on that.
It's very important to deny the bots power weapons. If one of those bots got a power weapon,
that's
they were going to empty that clip on their whole team.
But I think
they were going to empty it.
I think that's like regular players though, because there's a lot of players, like even when we're doing community game nights. Our Rob, I think it was in the chat earlier, he's like that.
Yeah.
Like our Rob is a good player on his own, but boy, when he gets those friggin' power weapons, and he just goes from being like really good to friggin' dominating everybody. He gets a rocket launcher and stuff, and you're just like, oh, here I go, gonna instant death coming up right now. I think that's part of it too. Perhaps the AI is dialed in again to kind of get people prepared for the community. I like what they're doing here. I like the fact that they are letting you get various difficulty levels of AI bots, because it lowers the frustration level of people. People are cheating and people are doing this, and this guy is an a-hole and all that sort of stuff. So I like what they're doing. Very few.
Are those all the words you use to describe our Rob?
After the last time he played multiplayer with us and schooled us all greatly, yeah, that's I got no
I'm calling
choice
hacks.
over
He's
Rob.
not really that good. He's hacking.
Oh,
R double, I guess it is in the Xbox.
yeah, R double.
no.
Yeah,
R double. Yep.
I played with. We played
We're
with
just
last
kidding
night.
with you, Rob. Man, you're awesome, dude. Yeah, and we appreciate you taking us to school because it keeps us in check, right?
Oh
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah, you got to keep those egos in check. Make sure nobody gets inflated. What's going on, Failed Pyromancer? How you doing? He says he doesn't trust 343. I think 343 is doing great stuff, man. Honestly, like, there's always going to be that debate. You get that in the Call of Duty world. Treyarch is better than Infinity Ward, so on and so forth. And I guess it comes down to your preferences and what you've always liked. And I think that we hang on to the older. A lot of us. That's the thing. I think a lot of us get these afflictions to older products because it hits us at a certain time in our life. So like Halo 3 for a lot of people is the pinnacle. Some people is the original Halo. So as soon as you change anything, automatically that next developer is like, oh man, they can't, we got that with the Coalition with Gears. The Coalition has not, in my opinion, as a huge Gearhead fan, the Coalition has not broken Gears. They stayed true to the formula for the most part. I think that the problem with Gears is more in the storytelling as opposed to how the game is played out and has been going. And that's just my opinion. I like what they're doing. They haven't ruined it. It's not like they completely changed the game, that sort of thing. So
wait a minute. Now I'm sorry to cut you off. Since the game is a little bit fast paced, when I was listening to you, I'm like, you don't think that. Do you believe that Bethesda and Doom is actually included into that thing? Because it's kind of a little bit fast-pacey, close to Doom Eternal.
I don't know if they've had enough time to even help them out with that yet, with them taking over the game. They might have given them some stuff, but
probably because it's
using assets, I don't know if they've gotten a chance to do all of that.
It's really fast-paced.
It's very good. I'm definitely impressed. If they keep this up with the multiplayer and it being free to bring in more people, just the options of color, parts of your armor, different stuff, things for your guns, camouflage and stuff, they are going to make a killing on the back end as well. So we know if it's free to play, there's an ability to have to pay for something on the back end, but I like the ability where you can play and still get the stuff that you want. A lot of the stuff, it will be given to you just because you played. There's no right that we know of what they're saying. No pay for play, but they're doing a great job. This is going to be awesome.
I have a question that just popped into my head now again. Now that from what I know, Scrub is the one who said that. I think I asked you if it's gonna be all multiplayer free, and now we're dealing with only campaign. Is it gonna be charged fully price, or is it gonna be a little bit of a discount for that? Similar to, let's say, like Call of Duty Black Ops 4 that didn't have a campaign, but it was charged fully, or the case may be. I know it's going to be on Game Pass. That's one thing. But what about for people that doesn't follow Game Pass?
It's probably going to be fully priced.
Yes.
It's a full-blown game.
It could be free and it wouldn't matter for me. I'm still buying the collector's edition.
Yeah, I think
that's where I think where that whole, you see that thing that the debate's going to, there's a screen that says campaigns. Multiplayer. So I think that's part of it. They're going to charge you full price, but you're probably not going to have the complete game at launch. There's probably going to be like story add-ons or some kind of crap. I'm not a fan of that model at all personally, but that's a debate for another day.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be 60 and you get both. But if you have the ability to have Xbox and get into it, whether you're on console or not, that'll be free to play, just like, Minecraft or something like that. But I think because they'll add it both together, I don't see them going off that $60 price.
Let's finish up. Let's get Cerebral Paul's take on this in here before we move on to our community spotlight feature.
I posted after I played it for a while yesterday. I like it. It feels natural. By the way, and you may like the bumper to be your whatever button, your melee button, but I need to put all of my action buttons on the right hand side so that I can do them well. So for me, the right bumper has to be the grenade, and I like having the right click as the melee because to me that feels more natural to pop down on that stick and pop somebody in the head.
Yeah, I have to do that because a lot of times when I'm shooting, I accidentally hit the stick. And you're in the middle of shooting somebody and you throw a punch and die. So that's why I change it so I don't accidentally hit it while I'm in the middle of fighting
I find myself that when I push the right stick, when I push it, like I don't know, it automatically like it changes where I'm looking, so I miss my melee.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I don't like it to be the right stick.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah, it's just a preference.
It means when you click, you turn. You don't click straight down. So that's a you thing. That's
why I plugged in the Elite and turned it into one of the back bumpers.
Yeah,
yeah.
Too many years of intimate moments in the washroom there, crooked thumbs.
You don't want to know all the video games this thumb has played.
Wow. This is not gaming after dark. Cut it, stop. But yeah, I like the fact that one of the preloaded controller things had what I like because I automatically look for that right bumper grenade because that's where I need it. So I'm glad that one of the preset controller schemes had that.
That's funny. We got a lot of people in the chat actually saying they'd like to buy a copy of the Halo Infinite, even though again it comes on Game Pass, but they are going to go out and buy it. I am one of those. I will buy the actual physical copy of that game, and I'm hoping that they're going to announce some sort of special edition, which I don't think they have yet, have they?
No, but I think there's a chance because they're going to, as it gets closer to the game, they're going to have their little special blowout going through the game. Here's some more gameplay. Maybe do a story beat in there somewhere. And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's 20th year.
Mm-hmm.
If you go through this whole year and don't have any special edition, anything, Xbox or game or statue or something, especially with the Master Chief, this is the pinnacle mascot of this system. I think that's a big miss. The only reason I could see them not doing a dedicated Xbox console is if just with maybe chip shortages and they're just trying to get the game out of the box out to people, they might shy away from that. But they got to at least have controllers, statues,
that's
all of that
that's
stuff.
a no-win situation for them. That's a no-win situation because if they do hold back consoles for the special edition, people will be going, "What the hell?" I could have had this months ago if you guys weren't stashing consoles.
Do you know what would be awesome for a special edition for the Halo game itself? Is to actually come with a hologram of Cortana.
Oh yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool? An actual hologram thing you put on your desk and you turn it on and the hologram pops up. That would be freaking amazing.
Or just give us a figure of the bots, that get us killed all the time.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do a console because of the shortage, but they have to have something controller or something.
For you, Shaddai, it's going to be a key to that prison cell.
Yeah.
So I think they made special editions. I know they made 360 Halo special editions and Xbox One special editions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember. I think they did have a Halo Xbox, OG Xbox special edition, a green one. So if they don't do a special edition Xbox on this one, I would be very, very shocked.
But it may be delayed. I don't see them pushing it to this Christmas. I think if they do, it will.
Or it might be just for the S. They could go that route too.
Yeah. Because you got to think too, chip shortage. They're trying to get the consoles out. Plus, they're having these same chips and everything for the Blade servers for the cloud too. So they are using those chips everywhere. So I wouldn't be surprised. I would love to see that, but I'd be surprised if it happened.
Nice. All right, everybody had their thoughts on Halo. Shall we move along?
Yep.
Terry says, please.
All right. Yes. The poor girl looks like she's just about. I think she's moved back further from her screen, and she's
She's
gonna
kicking her
dissolve
feet
into the
up.
If I any longer,
background.
she's going to be leaving the room. She's
Yeah.
going back out of the room.
Yeah, she's just like, yeah, you can see that chair just going back. She's gonna blend into the background, and oh shit, yeah. All right, so let's let's go back to Terry. Did you want to do your community spotlight? Is that correct?
Oh no, Shaddai had one.
All right, let's go with Shaddai then. Shaddai,
Well,
you're on
he
deck,
had
bro.
his
If you got
camera
one
off.
ready, you got his
Okay.
camera off. Is it going to be that kind of a?
Oh god.
Yeah, my community spotlight will be the cop that is actually outside the door, protecting myself. No, I'm kidding. No, my community spotlight will be actually the Ashen Luca.
Oh yeah.
She actually, after Noof gave me the opportunity of doing podcasting, she actually gave me an opportunity being on Scumcast before she created one called the New Bloods. She's fun. I played with her before so many times, talked to her. She's really fun to play with, talk to her about gaming. And I like people that are pretty much straightforward, in a funny manner, but when it needs to be said, she's one of those. If you suck at the game, you suck at the game. And if you actually say some nonsense, she will actually, how she is. She's very outspoken.
Yes.
And that's what I like. I like about her. And she, like I said, she gave me the opportunity. She's very fun to play with, talk to, and for me, she is a community spotlight.
It's a great choice. Luke and I go back quite a few years now. I say with Luca as well, her nickname should be Crash Bandicoot because she's short and she crashes into a lot of stuff. She's had more car accidents than I can even care to mention. I don't know how many times you get, Luca, I'm having a really bad day. I got into another car crash again. It's like, well, there's one thing for sure with Luca, then she must have an angel on her shoulder because the fact that she's still able to do a podcast after all the accidents she's had is amazing. So yeah, it's good, great call, great one.
Yeah,
and again,
she's a great person in the community. Yeah.
And again, another female gamer, that comes up to represent. She actually plays games,
She does.
Yeah, that sort of thing. You're totally right, and she tells it like it is.
Yeah, and she's really good at them. I think she's the only or the first person I knew that platinum Demon's Souls on the PS5. So she's up there. She's really good. Yeah. She's serious.
Anything that about Souls or Destiny, she's in it. Even though she played, she told me like you don't know how to play. You always dismantle shotguns. So she put me on the spot on that one. But yeah, she's a really good person.
Well, if this community spotlight was on Gaming After Dark, I would have something really intelligent and funny to say about all this. But I will have to leave it for another time. Great stuff, guys. The Ash and Luca this week's community spotlight is brought to you by Eternal Shaddai. Alrighty, let's get over to you. How about you, Scrub Nurse? Is there anything that is coming out this week that you think we should be on the platter, or things died down just a little bit?
Things died down just a little bit, but I just want to bring it out just in case people have missed out or not been actually watching what's going on lately. So I'm just going to pull up my screen. I wanted to just show on GamePassCounter.com the stuff that is coming soon, which August 13th will be Hades. That's the big indie that's finally coming to console. 12 Minutes and Psychonauts 2. This is all coming in the next month. And this is not counting what just happened this week. There's another game that I don't think we really talked about that much that came out with the Ascent. Was Raji, an ancient epic. Been hearing a lot about this game. That is it's pretty good. People are loving it. So it's on Game Pass. If you want to check it out, please do. Also up here, The Last Stop just came out. So now I'm gonna pull up here to the actual
By
Xbox.
the way, yeah, if you haven't played The Last Stop, it's an incredible little story. It's
Yes,
about
yes,
6.5 hours to play through, really easy, but it's a good story and very well done. So
yes. I heard it was fun. It's quirky, has some good stuff. So if you want to try that out, please do. I've heard some stuff about Omno. I'm not into it as much, but I think it was made by one person.
Hey,
Made this game and also had
Another game like that?
yes,
Ooh,
and
boy.
also had someone to do their music. And this game is a little fun. I guess can y'all see it playing right there? It's a cool little
yeah.
game. It's pretty, and with the mechanics and stuff, I think someone would love this. This might be up one of y'all's alley right there. I don't know, Terry, if this might be something you like, or did you hear about this one, Terry?
I have not, but just looking at that, that is something that I would play.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I'm on that. Yes.
So that's a big one that might have slipped under folks' view, but Raji is also another one that looks like is good. It's based off some Indian tales
Yeah.
about Indian lore,
Mhm.
and I've heard only great things. So check that out if you can. Coming up soon, of course, we got Hades, we got Psychonauts, Age of Empires. We're going further down the months, but just look at all this stuff that's coming out toward the end of the year. We got so many games. Don't get overwhelmed. Anybody who's saying they don't have anything to play, they're not looking for it. So, like I said, anytime you want to check it out, GamePassCounter.com. We also put it in the chat. Check that out. See what's on there. See what you want to play. There's so many games that you're going to miss that you don't know in there. Right now, 471 unique games in Game Pass, broken down versus console, PC, cloud, anything. So there's something for everyone.
Nice.
And there's something for everyone plus 100 other games that is for them. So check that out when y'all can. And that's all I got for right now.
That's awesome. That's perfect. Xbox is our Game Pass. What's it? GamePassCounter.com, guys. GamePassCounter.com. Alrighty.
Well,
Well,
notice what Cool Cat Terri put in the chat. She defiantly recommends Raji.
Yes.
I meant she sure meant to say different.
It's really good. Like the best way I could, the best way I could, kind of sum up what it's like is the gameplay is similar to like Tomb Raider, but a lot more simplistic, and the camera's more zoomed out. It's not like over the shoulder, like third person. It's more zoomed out, side scroller type, but it plays very similar to Tomb Raider, so I really am enjoying it.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of the gameplay. It looks great. Like I said, it's just so many freaking games out. I mean, I bought Death's Door and I've barely been able to touch that, and that's a fun game as well. So
well, it's perfect. This is going to segue right into our next segment about games leaving Game Pass and games leaving the Microsoft Xbox store in particular, and that is Forza 7. It is getting pulled down soon. So if you don't have a copy of this game already, at some point you will not be able to get it. I would say even physical copies will be very restrictive, that sort of thing. And I think it's largely due to licensing issues, normally with car manufacturers and things like that within the game. So I have a physical copy of it. My scare here is that even though I have a physical copy, we know that that really means nothing. They can change the game. They can do what they want from a digital perspective. And that's the scary thing about games now that are connected to the internet and stuff like this. And this is one of my arguments I've always made for digital games and this landscape where licensing stuff expire and contracts expire, and they just immediately pull this stuff down, leaving you either next to no access or very limited access to what's left in the game. So I think it sucks, and I think that's something as well that they should remedy in games to kind of get rid of this junk where stuff is like 5 years or whatever, that sort of thing. So how do you guys feel about Forza basically heading off into the sunset or the twilight, I guess you could say, of Xbox? And does this also mean that Forza 8 is just around the corner, perhaps?
I do think that it might be just around the corner, Forza 8. When I say around the corner, probably holiday of next year, 2022. this is something that happens with all the Forza games, whether it's Motorsport or Horizon. Usually they go about 4 years and then they take them off. And I don't know if that agreement with the cars are lasting 4 years. Sometimes it might be with the music. So if anybody are worried about it, please just go download the game and play. You'll still be able to play the game, but you won't get the stuff like maybe a bunch of updates, different things of that nature. Also, like you're saying, they're going to pull it off on Game Pass. I just find it usually once one gets pulled down, the other game is up. So, Motorsport gets pulled down, Horizon is still up. When that one's down, Motorsport, the new one, is usually up. And I think the only reason why this is falling with us a little empty space with not either one of the games being out at the time, a newer one, is because they took extra time on these last two iterations with Forza Horizon 5 and then Motorsport getting like an extra year to come out. And I think we just fell in the gap. I think what the ramifications of it will be that you might get more people coming out to Forza Horizon 5 just so they can play a Forza game, because the Forza Motorsport people or fans are kind of like Flight Simulator. This is a racing sim game. It is a game, but these are hardcore people who have their setups. They have their seats with their PC. I have a friend who has 3 screens. He has like a go-kart seat with a roll cage and everything, pedals, a shifter, and all that, just to play this one game. And he is dead serious about it. And he will not touch Horizon because to him, that is an arcade game. Right. So you might see some. The good thing about Horizon is you can work with the settings, with the modifications, and you can change some of it to be close to a simulation that you can without being Motorsport. Yes, it will be a little bit more gamey arcade, but the way the game looks, the graphics and everything.
We need to get Eternal Shaddai a roll cage for when he goes on Flight Simulator.
There you go.
You should get him a modified afterburner cabinet, but it rolls completely over. Does a 360 barrel roll.
I have the chair ready, just the cage.
Yeah, because that's basically what he has. He has that seat and he has a roll cage. I don't know why, but to me, I guess to him, so it can feel more realistic. But I don't play Motorsport just because it's a little bit too serious for me. I mean, like I used to play Project Gotham Racing, and it used to piss me off going around the corner and bumping a wall, and then it was like, oh well, there's no way you're catching back up. So you have different markets for these two games, which I'm glad they do have both of them there available for people to decide which one they like or to get one. They're visual masterpiece. Even if you don't play it that much, it'd be great if you want to check it and get it. I think it's worth getting if you haven't delved into it and you just want to check it out. But with the licensing, with the car companies, also with the music, this is something that's always going to happen. And just think of, here's like a great game I used to play all the time, DJ Hero. After Guitar Hero, Rock Band. After a certain point, that's all you're getting, and you're not getting anymore because that's it. The licensing, they can't keep it up, and nobody wants to sit there and go retroactively paying a license and then trying to come out with the new game, still making the new deals with either the same car companies or the same music. You're basically having to do 2 separate deals to keep 2 games going. And I think money wise, it's you're eventually going to have to drop one to get to the next one. So I think that's just a letdown.
Do we have a date when Forza's leaving?
I think September. I'll have to check the date for sure.
Yeah, I think you're correct.
I want to say September.
Late September, 20-something.
Yeah, Noop, we'll have to do that on Community Game Night as a farewell to Forza.
Yes, we
Hey,
should.
that sounds
Yes,
fun.
Forza
Yeah, that would be
7. Just
fun.
download that one in advance. It's a big file on that sucker. So
You know what would be a farewell that you play and all of a sudden they just cut it right,
right in the
while you're
middle.
playing, like, get back, cut it.
Like your car starts to disappear. Oh, the license just expired.
Thanos
Pretty
snaps
much.
and everybody fades away.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like my biggest fear with something like that is perhaps I don't buy Forza 8 or I don't get it for a while, so I'm back to playing Forza 7 and cars and stuff that I paid for all of a sudden gone. I mean, perhaps that's being a bit extreme, but there, nothing is outside the realm, so to speak. With some of these things that we've seen games in the past completely get shut down where you can't even play them anymore. As far as I know, I think all of the
I would suggest
series.
you leave your car add-ons on your console or your external drive, so you at least have them locally.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So that's a good
and
point.
me,
Paul.
I don't understand either why there has to even be expiries for this stuff, because I mean, once you sign it and you pay the money, it should, for me, like car companies or even music, that's free advertising for them once it's in a game. Like why would you even want to pull something like that out, right?
Because
Like
you want to make that money. You can only
They
don't do contracts in perpetuity. They're going to say for this amount.
It's old hat. That's why, like
Yeah.
radio stations, they have to renew their ASCAP licenses every year.
Unless you're Toyota.
To play the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toyota.
Not for nothing, but now that we're talking about this has always happened with Forza Motorsport, but for Horizon it never happens. The only one that happened was for Horizon 1. That's the only one that just
they've taken them off the stores.
Well, that's not true, because on Horizon 3 you can no longer purchase the Hot Wheels DLC.
You can't do. They've taken
Which
them
is
off.
like
that's
the
only
best
a
DLC ever
DLC,
made
but
for a
we're
racing
talking about a lot of things for Forza though.
Oh, I didn't know that. But that's
But I think if you still have the Hot Wheels DLC, you can still use it.
Yeah, if you already had
Here's the thing, like I used to be really into that Guitar Hero thing, and I bought so much DLC. I probably spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on DLC.
Yeah.
And I thought I would at least always have access to it. So my hard drive bricked. I needed to get a new one, and I went to re-download everything. I couldn't even find the music to download it. It wouldn't even let me. Now, if I had it, it didn't erase it, but I couldn't find it to download it.
Yeah, once you have it on these games, you have to have it somewhere
that's
on some
problem.
kind of hard drive, or you're going to have problems getting it back up again. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
I just
go ahead, Terry.
Right, go ahead, Axel. Finish your point.
I totally lost my train of thought when you go ahead.
No, I just wanted to reiterate when I said Toyota, because for those that aren't familiar, Toyota is like the only car company that refuses to do licensing with Need for Speed.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care how much money is offered. They refuse to be in Need for Speed because they claim that they don't want to associate with illegal street racing. But I'm like,
that happened with Midnight Club? Is that when it started?
I don't know. Like they used to, like back in the day, they used to be in Need for Speed, but then now all of a sudden they're like, no, we don't associate with street racing. And I'm like, but Forza Horizon is technically street racing, and it's
because Toyotas don't have speed.
Well,
street race with hybrids.
Also, it was big in the car culture back in Japan that a lot of these car companies had secret teams that would mod the hell out of them and would do street racing at night. Japan has cut down a lot on that. They put a lot of legal restrictions on how much you can mod your car, how much horsepower your car can have. And they used to practice this, and they would use these modders to turn around, and when they built their new car, what upgrades and stuff. But all those manufacturers in Japan have like handshake agreements of horsepower can only be this much, torque can only be this much. And Japan has pretty much, if you're part of street culture now in Japan, as far as racing, you're mainly part of like these street gangs. They're more like race car gangs instead of biker gangs. They have a lot of cameras and everything through the streets for police to tamp down on that a lot. And I think that's probably why Toyota's like, we don't want to be considered with that culture, because the government has made it more bad in the eyes of the general public and more illegal, because you're not straight laced following rules. You're being against the grain, so that's probably why.
Yeah.
I just
do know
find
that
it
some of
humorous,
used
though.
to be- Some of it used to be, some of the manufacturers didn't want their cars shown in a bad light as far as like damage and stuff. They didn't want, they don't want you to show your car, their Maserati all wrecked up and destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
They had issues with that. They said, we only want you to see the car in its pristine condition, not in this tore up shape.
Yeah, there's been a lot of deaths and problems from a lot of street racing in the last couple of years, so they've been tamping down that hard, and I think that's why Toyota's kind of backing from that.
A lot of the racing games don't even do damage anymore.
Right.
I was about to say that. I'm like, all cars be, make a damage except Toyotas.
Toyota won't go in those games, but I just wanted to say that I find it funny though, because when you think of like what car brands are more commonly tuned up, it's Toyota. So it's like, come on, you're not going to escape that image. You're not going to escape the image. It's there, okay? I'm sorry. People are going to go and they're going to tune up those Civics and things. It's just how it is.
I can't wait to get myself a Toyota Corolla. Sorry, it's a Corolla.
Forza Motorsport 7, definitely get it. It's a good game. It's a really good game. I'm excited for Forza 5 because, in the simulator world, Forza is a physics-based game, or Forza, as they want us to say.
Yes,
Forza,
you must say it correctly. Forza
is a physics-based game, and on the tires, they would only have 1 point of contact for that physics, and in the new one, they're going to have 8 points of contact. So that's going to make it even better. But yeah, if you don't own any of the DLC and you were thinking about it, you should buy it.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't gotten a physical copy of it, you should probably invest in one just in case.
Yeah, Mav sent me a DM there, and like he's got all the Forza games installed on hard drive, and they're still re-downloadable as long as you have them there, download it or whatever. Bottom line is, it's just like trying to get a certain game. You won't be able to purchase Forza 7 after a certain point. So that's the thing. If you've never ever wanted to get it, then go get it now before it disappears.
This will happen with Horizon 4 eventually too. So,
and just an FYI, Track Toys is the worst division ever. Those cars suck. Every single last one of them. Track Toys are the worst.
Nick.
I'm sorry, I had to do it.
Nick says Toyota, the recall king.
yeah.
And they all have their fair share of recalls these days, that's for sure. All right, well, any further thoughts on Forza 7? Does anybody play it anymore at all? I haven't seen
I was just playing it like a week
time.
and a half ago.
I know Terry, anything that is car related and simulator, she'll go for it.
I'm real big in the racing games, but I'm more arcade. I don't really get into the Sims.
Yeah.
We just did Forza 7 for Community Game Night UK 2 weeks ago.
Right.
It's in the rotation for Community Game Night. Most people enjoy it. So,
question for the panel and for the chat: if one had to go, either Forza or Motorsport or Forza Horizon, which one would it be? Put down 1 if you would get rid of the Forza Motorsport series, or 2 if you'd get rid of the Horizon series. And let's find out with the panel. Terry, either or, which one would you keep? Which one would you boot?
I would get rid of Motorsport. Like I said, I'm not into the Sims, so like Motorsport, Gran Turismo, any of those games, they could disappear, and I wouldn't care.
Yeah, I would get rid of Motorsport. 1, because Forza Horizon is far reaching to a bigger crowd of people than the Sim. So I would say if one had to go, usually Motorsport has a little bit better visuals. I would still get rid of Motorsport.
So far, only 2s in the chat. One coming from Fun Speculation, which would be Mav, and the other one from our panel member, Cerebral Paul, which we'll hear from in just a second. Axel, how about you?
And making me agree with Mav is just wrong. I'm just
I'm actually going to say you can't have Horizon without Motorsport. And if Motorsport left, Horizon would suck. The reason Horizon is so good is because of Motorsport. And
Forza
I feel that the racing genre in Xbox would degrade without Motorsport. So I'm going to say if I had to get rid of one, it'd be Horizon. Okay. Sadly, I mean, I don't know why you're doing this to me, Noof. This wasn't on the topics.
Yeah, this is a hard decision because the Forza Tech, whatever Motorsport gets, it trickles down a Horizon afterwards.
Yeah, they, turn 10 and, they're the ones who code the Forza Tech. They're the ones who scan the cars. They're the ones who record it, all that good stuff. And I don't think, Horizon, for as great of a game as it is, I don't think it would be as great without Forza Motorsport.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Forza Motorsport. So yeah.
Where does that? I don't get where that T comes in.
That's what I'm saying. There's no T.
They tweeted out that they put a little phonetic pronunciation on how to say it, and it says
Forza. Yeah.
But where does it come from? Why?
But that's like pizza.
Europeans.
Italian.
Europeans, man. Who knows?
Like pizza.
Europeans.
European.
It comes from the Italian word for force.
Before the show.
Yeah.
It's just like because like right now, like I have the BMW Z3, but in Europe they call it the Z3.
Z, yeah. Yeah, it comes from the Italian word for force. So
I've been in Canada.
what's
We
that?
just call them Beamers. Should I?
All right.
I will get rid of motorsports because at least Horizon gives you the freedom to explore a lot of things. So on motorsports, the only thing that you do is circle. And a circle.
No.
And a circle.
You haven't played Motorsport if you get to say that.
Wait.
They have right turns.
No, I have to because I'm like I played Gran Turismo before, so
Gran
for me
Turismo
and that one
is not
for me.
Forza.
no,
Wait.
no.
Forza.
Wait,
No.
wait, doesn't it have the
And
same
it's
way
not
of
NASCAR.
Wait.
It's not NASCAR. You're not driving
Not
in a
NASCAR.
ring.
It's more like Formula One. You do make right-handed
Yeah,
turns.
but it still is pretty much is the tracks are closed. It's not there's no freedom for it. You're just passing by the next. You're
Well, it's a
just because
racing
of the
sim.
railing.
You're not going to drive through the grass and hit trees.
That's
and
why
stuff like that.
Horizon. That's why I say Horizon gives you the freedom. You could go here. You could
Yeah,
go
because it's an
there.
arcade.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's all about
And
freedom.
just an FYI,
Should I?
Forza does
it's
have
what it is.
original tracks.
Yes.
The Dubai track on Forza 7 is original. That track does not exist in real life.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that comes to mind is Rallycross, but okay, but for
Well,
me,
let's just-
it's all about freedom.
Mhm.
All right, acceptable. Yes.
I'll give you that.
He's just stuck in his little dome there, and he's playing with
See,
his little.
I was about to
minor
say that, but he
racetrack.
beat me to it. I'm like, wait, when I gotta, it's different.
He wants freedom.
Yeah,
He wants
yeah.
freedom.
Right now, where I'm in right now, this is pretty much motorsports. Once I open that padlock and go there, that's Horizon.
So he wants
Forza
wants to
Motor
crash-
House.
He wants to crash his car like he crashes his plane. On
Yeah,
the street
that's
in the
right.
neighborhood.
Oh shit. Paul.
I like both games for different reasons. I think for
Yes.
longevity purposes, though, I prefer Motorsport to Horizon.
Right.
Horizon for me has always been hit or miss. I've enjoyed the latest Horizon more than any of the others.
Right.
But even then, for me, it's like all of a sudden it's winter and I can't drive a car to save my life. So I like the control of the simulator of motorsport. So
Yeah.
The weather is a simulation. How about that?
yeah, the weather's a simulation that is a pain in the ass at times.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, go ahead, Axel.
Shaddai, whenever he escapes his prison, I'll tell you what he's not doing. He's not driving the escape car, and he's surely not driving the escape plane.
Good
No.
one, though. Good one.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Mav kind of sums it up. I think motorsport is more of that. What it says, sport. Horizon is more of a casual, go anywhere experience, and I think he's definitely right on both counts. I mean, they're both. If you're a fan of racing games, I think they both belong in anybody's collection. But
Yes.
obviously, it depends on where you lie. It's kind of like Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's kind of that same deal, like you can buy other games where you can fly planes, and some games are very arcadey in nature where it's just kind of up down throttle. But Flight Simulator, takes it to a whole new extreme. And much like that, Forza Motorsport, you can go really deep on the customization of things and the tuning aspect, or you can again settle back and not worry about that so much and just kind of go anywhere and enjoy the vistas and the sort of craziness that comes with the Horizon series. And I think they're both. I love them both almost equally. If I had to get rid of one personally, I would go with Motorsport, only because Motorsport feels more limited. Again, you're basically set to set tracks. You're kind of doing the lap aspect, where Horizon really gives you that sense of freedom, a sense of adventure. The fact you can hook up with lots of your buddies and do these like sort of car posses and go places and do crazy stuff. It's kind of the best of both worlds. They have that sense of realism in Horizon that I like. They take over some of that graphics technology and the cars still feel realistic enough, but yet again, obviously, like if you look at the terrain, there's no way you'd race some of these high-end Ferraris and Lamborghinis on that terrain. It would not happen. You'd bottom out and your car would be wrecked in no time. That ain't happening, right? We all get that. So it takes that sense of reality out of it. But they're both phenomenal games, and they're both showcase titles. No matter which one you get. I mean, I remember when Forza 7 launched right alongside the Xbox One X, and it was a showcase title. I mean, it was like, wow, 60 frames a second. Look at these, the shadows and the textures and the rain on the roads and everything. And it just blew your mind.
On the car and everything.
So good, just so well done. But I am glad they also took a break, because, that's like anything. When you come out yearly, things become stagnant. And I felt that's, while the series kept improving, you're like, people's hype for games just starts to die. Like when you're constantly getting a sequel every year, you just kind of get numb to it. You're just like, oh, look, another this or another that, like when you take time away. And it also gives the studio a real chance to flex their talent, because they're not forced into making the same stuff, the copy and paste routines that you see with sports games. So that's what I'm excited about, really, to see now what Turn 10 after having.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. But actually having years, like Dan Greenwald and the team at Turn 10, imagine now what they've got cooking for us, that the fact that they haven't been forced to just kind of put another game out there. We're gonna see something shine. This is a shame that it did not come out alongside the Series X. We get that. Historically, Forzas have almost come out day and date with an Xbox, but you know what? At the end of the day, I'm all for the delays if it means a bigger, better experience and a chance that they can actually go, here's what the Series X can do now. I'm excited for it. I can't wait. Hopefully, it does come out next year. Would be an opportune time, a great time. Bring it out next fall and really go for broke with this one.
They might learn something from Horizon and implement it for Motorsport too. So
you never know. What?
I don't know for now. Let's say
going off the track,
and keep going straight. Exactly.
No,
exactly.
No.
Anti-gravity race cars on the moon. That's the next step for Forza on moon racing. So when you hit the jumps, the cars just float.
Fest,
Isn't Motorsport going to be doing that? Not Motorsport. Horizon going to be doing that, where you can adjust the gravity of the track.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I think they said they were doing that.
Be like those races in GTA when you're in the cars and you go off the ramps and you can have the parachute and your car is
GTA physics, down. Man.
That's so funny. There's some nut stuff in that, man. One thing I definitely would like to see actually come to the Forza Motorsport series in particular, or even Horizon. I would like to see the addition of motorcycles. We haven't seen that since PGR4. And I thought it was amazing, although it was a very, very unfair advantage, because when you're racing guys in a car and you're on a bike, even though those fucking bikes could go, dudes would clip you with the car, and that was it. Your race was almost done. It was just like,
you could always play Ride.
Oh, yes, Ride is good.
You could play Ride and then just do all motorcycles.
That's true. We should do that one for one of the.
I want Forza Kart. Forza Kart racing.
Oh my god, that would be awesome.
Oh, that'd be great. But don't make it a mobile game. Make it where you can play it on
Forza Street.
Forza Kart with all the popular vehicles from the Xbox franchises. Things like the Warthog and things like the whole 9 yards.
Yes. Awesome. Part of Horizon. See, he got it.
Yeah. Horizon, not Motorsport.
like I said, you could break that barrier. You could jump from one track to the next track, seamlessly.
Oh,
Jagus is go play Road Rash. Yeah, they should bring that back, a realistic version of Road Rash. That'd be awesome. I know
They brought one back called
They
Road.
brought
Road Rage,
Road
right?
Rash.
Road
They
Rage or
brought
something
it
like
back. They brought Road Rash back, but it was horrific.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Burnout
Yeah.
Revenge, baby. I'm telling you, it's all about Burnout Revenge.
Yes.
Yeah,
Revenge was
a
great. I do miss the original Burnout though, when all you did was just cause collisions for points.
Oh,
Like I
not
miss doing
only
that.
that one. There's one racing game that nobody have mentioned. Split Second.
That was a good one.
That was a
Mhm.
good one.
Yeah, that's where you cause the havoc that you hit the button, right?
Right.
And then
Made by
buildings that
Disney
blow up and stuff.
Interactive. I don't know why Disney is not making games. I'm really
Yeah.
surprised.
Yeah, that was another great one. There's been a lot that just slid underneath the radar. Thank God that Wreckfest is getting the love that it deserves, because that title could have easily slid under there too. But because it sets itself apart and it's done well enough, that's pretty sweet.
Yep.
Dreadpool is in the
It's
chat. What's
it's
up?
a quote racing game that I don't mind doing multiplayer by myself because I'm not, it doesn't aggravate me when people run me off the track or whatever. It's just part of the game.
Yeah.
And I'm good at running into things, so it worked out.
All I can say is stay away from Assassin Looper and her damn hurts.
Yeah, I know.
I wanted to say to Shaddai though, the reason why Disney's not making those games is they're too busy nickel and diming people with Disney Infinity.
Oh, not only that, even from Sea of Thieves from Pirates of the Caribbean. So.
Mhm.
Oh, that's not nickel and diming. That's free.
Mhm.
That's coupons.
Yeah.
They're allocating all their functions to Marvel movies right now and pumping up Disney Plus. They're not gonna sit there with games as well.
Yeah, but that
They had a
comes with
chance.
huge
They had
company.
games.
Oh,
They
That's
had
what I'm saying. Don't
companies,
they have a
and they got
division?
rid of them.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, you got it.
They got rid of them.
now that Netflix is gonna take its crack at gaming, you never know. Disney may reevaluate things down the road for sure, because they have the resources and the money. So you never know.
Mm-hmm.
We all know Netflix is just going to contract Tencent. Tencent is going to use one of their 500 billion developers they own to make the Netflix games.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we got a couple more things to get through. Let's close this show here. How about you, my friend Axel? Do you have anything on the
Cloud?
on the cloud front this week?
Oh yeah. So Xbox is adding games to Game Pass based on their 20 years of Xbox. And this month, the two games were Blinks the Time Sweeper. If you've never played Blinks, you play a cat like thing, and it's a platformer. It's a platformer action game, and you can power up some time powers where you can do stasis or rewind to solve some puzzles. Some people really love it, some people really hate it. It's one of those kind of in the middle games. But the big one to come to the 20 years of Xbox, which also works on xCloud, is Crimson Skies: High Road to Revenge. Which I know Terry loves. This is a phenomenal game. It still holds up today, and it plays even better it plays great on mobile. It works really well on mobile.
It's not a flight sim.
No, this is definitely not a flight sim. Trust me. You don't have to worry about anything about stalling.
But it's still flying, right?
It's like Horizon.
It's not a sim, dude.
It's like Horizon.
Shaddai, I'm going to throw you into solitary confinement.
Mute this one.
Shaddai, if you've never played Crimson Skies,
No, I actually played not too long ago. I'm like, this is another flight sim with guns.
It's called.
You're triggering me.
The art style is kind of considered diesel punk or steampunk ish. It's pretty good. It's really good. It's one of the high marks of the original Xbox. Also arriving this weekend was Lethal League Blaze. I haven't played it. It's described as like a speedball game where you hit people with it, kind of like Griffball on Halo, I guess. Omno, which is an easy 1,000 for anybody who wants it. And, of course, the Ascent. All this works on the cloud. Another cloud news, 80 games are now available with touch controls, so you don't actually need anything other than your phone to play. City Skylines got touch controls, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Darkest Dungeons, the Fable games, Fable 1, 2, and 3, Fusion Frenzy, which I don't know how that one's going to play with touch controls, because even with a controller, your inputs had to be pretty good to win. Goner 2, Joyride Turbo, a game I know Noof enjoys.
Mm-hmm.
Outlast 2, Steep, the Bard's Tales games, and the Wild at Heart. So yeah, that's the cloud gaming news we have. But yeah, as the time goes on, they're going to keep adding games to the celebrate 20 years of Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll add the Chronicles of Riddick, or maybe Black, or something like that. Some of those lesser known games that are still diamonds in the rough, if you will.
Now, also, if you look on that Game Pass counter, there's 281 cloud games right now to play. 281. So there's something in there.
Definitely. So yeah, that's all I have for the cloud gaming, is to tell you what was coming this week to cloud gaming. That's just this week, guys. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is still the best deal in gaming, hands down.
Yes.
Amen. Preach to that. Good stuff.
Also, if you haven't been paying attention, Games with Gold for next month actually has a pretty decent selection. Something tells me they may ramp that up a little bit.
I didn't see it yet, actually.
Yeah, I did not see that.
I missed
How
that.
I feel about touch controls puking. Hey, City Skylines controls pretty good with touch controls, if I do say so.
Mm-hmm.
But some games, like I said, are just not made for touch controls. I don't know why they even tried.
Alrighty. And Paul, any particular news or updates on the accessibility?
Just my upsetness with the Ascent. That's about that I already talked about.
There you go.
But nothing new and exciting as far as that goes.
So, developer of the Ascent, if you're listening, you may want to add a few extra features to your game.
Oh, trust me, I already pinged him in a tweet or two.
Right.
And I even was polite and didn't start it with "What the hell, man?" So
What the hell, man? Yes, indeed. Did we get around to everybody? Everybody's everybody's good. Because I think we're going to wrap up the show. We could do one more topic, but I think we're going to leave it for another week. So,
is it a topic that can go for another week?
It's not that important. Let's just wrap up the show today, guys. Let everybody get out of here. Fantastic chat as always, guys. You are freaking amazing. Lost forever. How are you? Glad you could make it. Dan the Man Cunningham. See, back from the dead. Our good community game night friend is in the house. What is happening? Jago Kukin's been hanging out with us as well. You guys are fantastic. So many great fans. Gina, what's going on? How are you? Who else do we got?
He's stalking me because I've seen him like 5 times in the last 2 weeks. Every show I'm on, he shows up or something. It's kind of getting scary.
Lady Foxfire is here. Always good to see her. As she kind of took a little time away from things. It's always good seeing her in a lot of chats recently. It's always good to see Lady Foxfire, and would love to have her on as a guest on this show at some point. So there's a lot of people in this in the chat who I would love to have on as a guest at some point. So we'll definitely keep you posted. Perhaps we'll have one next week. I got a couple of names in mind that I should definitely toss out some invites to. But anyway, we're going to wrap things up, and let's get to the outros, and we will start from the bottom and come around to the top here. So first up, we will have Cerebral Paul doing his exit outro. Cerebral, let people know where they can catch up with you, sir, and what you got going on.
You can find me at Cerebral Paul 1 on Twitter, Cerebral Paul on YouTube, Cerebral Paul 921 on the Xbox, and you can find me every Wednesday on the Subscast Midweek Gaming, and here every Sunday, and I think that's it right now. Oh, and I do when I don't have a killer headache, I do help now co-host on Saturdays with Noof for the community game night, and I also hang out with the UK side as well.
And thank you for that, Paul. I appreciate you stepping up to the plate, because I've missed, I think, 3 or 4 weeks now. I don't like to be inconsistent, but I've been becoming consistent at being inconsistent. So that's why it's always nice to have someone else to pick up the reins, when I'm busy doing stuff. Last night, it was family and friends, took precedence over game night. So, and that was really good. I had a great day yesterday. Sucked that I couldn't play games. I miss it when I don't, but it is what it is, right? So. All right,
I had a headache. I had to back out last minute, and the UK guys kind of picked up the slack. and covered for me, and somebody else in chat did too. And I
Yeah,
missed who
Timmy.
it was.
Timmy.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that, Timmy. Appreciate it. And as always, shout out to those guys, Mr. Tushy and Animated Evil, who, like I said, will often carry over the game nights into the North American time zones, and a lot of fun. So hopefully I can get one going again next week. Let's get over to Eternal Shaddai. We better get him out of here before the warden shows up to, relock those doors.
Lights
Shaddai,
out.
let people know where they can catch up with you, my friend.
All right. So you can find me at Twitter at Eternal Shaddai. Also the same for Xbox. I do podcasting in Spanish on Saturday at Cultura de Mancos. I'll be playing a lot of things and fun. What was his name? Math.
The guy who
Math.
made you give him his
Speculation,
him
yeah,
made
Math.
you
Yeah,
put in the
Mav
other
said
day.
that I'm
Yeah.
a variant, so I'm like, you should call me he who remains. So, so you can find me on all those platforms and channels. And sorry I wasn't here last weekend. A lot of things have happened,
Mhm.
but I'm here, and I'll see you next weekend.
Yeah, you spent too much time in the showers last week, and that's what I heard.
No, my son was like fully awake at 3:00 in the morning, thinking that it was noontime, and I'm like, oh boy.
It's
But-
all good, bro. We missed you,
dropped
but
the soap. We know
yeah.
you dropped the soap. Okay, we get it.
Yeah. Smell his bum. It's like Irish Spring down there.
How you know? Let me start. Hey.
Oh God.
Axel, let people know what's happening with you, bro.
All right, guys. Yeah. So you can find me on YouTube and on Twitch, Axel1324 Gaming, and then on Xbox and on Twitter at just Axel1324. I do stream every Saturday. I just did a stream yesterday, where I spent basically the entire stream building a base in one of the harder biomes in what's the name of that? I totally forgot the name of the game I was playing. Whatever.
Eternal?
Huh?
Eternal?
No. It was it's that Viking game that came out. Valheim. There we go. Valheim. Yeah, I play a lot of Valheim right now. Me and my friends are trying to get to the final boss, but we can't find the last resource. So right now we're underpowered in the final biome, and we die a whole lot, to mosquitoes. They're called death mosquitoes, but trust me, these are like malaria carrying mosquitoes. They will murder you.
Sucking your blood, is that what it is?
I don't even know what they do, man. They just come in, and all of a sudden you go from 200 points of health down to like 10. So it's bad. Anyways, moving on. So me and my friends play that. You can find me on Xbox Live. I was playing the Halo Technical Flight Testing, and I'm also playing a lot of Flight Sim right now, trying to do some co-op flight simming. And yeah, it's not sightseeing; it's actual flight simming. But yeah, it's fun. And that's all I got. And as always, the chat, thank you so much for joining us. You guys are the real MVPs, as always.
Absolutely. Well, sometimes that's all you need, Axel. Good stuff. Mr. Scrubners, let people know where they can catch up with you, sir.
I'm glad everybody got a chance to hang out with us, had fun. You can check me out, Scrub Nurse, on Xbox Gamertag, all caps Scrub space Nurse, Twitter, Scrub Nurse 3. You can check me out on my Twitch channel, Scrub_Nurse. And then on Facebook, look up the Bayou Elite. Me and my friends, we do some streaming. I might end up doing that with some of the Halo Infinite this tonight. Everybody in the chat, if you want to add me, please do. I had so much fun last night playing with a couple of you guys in the chat. I know sometimes people think, oh, these podcasters or somebody I see on the internet, he only plays with certain other podcasters and I'll never get to play with them. I'm nothing special, just like everybody else. So if you're on there, you see me, hit me up an invite. I bounced around all night playing with different groups just to play with as many different people as I could, and I had a blast. So don't be scared to reach out. It's all about having fun and talking games. So thanks for everybody coming out. See y'all on the next time.
Yeah, we're just average, everyday podcasters that play games, unlike some people that podcast and just bitch about games. That's the difference. I agree with you
I see you,
wholeheartedly, man.
Axel.
You know.
I have never lost a match to a bot, unlike some people who admitted that earlier.
Ooh.
Hey, man, I got caught off guard.
Ooh, or either I got better teammates, one or the other, but I've
Hey,
never
Man,
lost
hey,
a bot.
it's good that you get carried, Scrub. I mean, that's good, right? It's good to be carried.
You should see him how he got pinned against the corner. He looked kind of weird on that one.
Yeah.
And while closing things out, it is the queenie of the beanie, Miss Cool Cat Terri. Let people know where they can catch up with you, Terri.
All right, you guys, you can go and catch me on Twitter at coolcat_Terri. Otherwise, everywhere else is just all one word without the underscore. You know, I'm on Instagram. You can find me on all my gamer tags, whether it's, Steam or Xbox or PlayStation or anywhere. It's all the same. Check all that out. You can also catch my my Twitch. I stream there during the week, Monday through Thursday, 6 to midnight Eastern. Friday is 2 to 6, and then Saturdays is usually around 6 to 10. Yeah, I usually do a good variety of stuff between RPGs, racing, puzzles, whatever. So come check it out.
That's right. And she picks some damn good indies, guys. I'm telling you, she's got great taste. So if you're looking for great indies to play, you got to hit her up because she does it every week. She just picks these amazing games.
What was the name of it of the game again?
Well, this one you can tell them what it was. Since you got technically
Barlow's. I forgot for a bit. I forgot for a bit the name of it.
You're calling out. You don't even know, dude. Okay.
I don't know because that's the reason why. That's the reason why.
Barlow's Dread Machine. Okay, should I just fail twice on this game? So
yeah, that's the reason why I said Terry was the name of it. The game again. Just not. You should have backed me up on that one.
Oh shit! That's the last time Eternal gets to submit his indie selection to Terry. That's it.
Come on.
Pretty much.
And you guys know where to find me. Always in the gutter, guys. It's Noof Nukem pretty much everywhere. Thanks for the love and support. As always, when you're not checking this crazy panel out here on Sunday mornings, you can catch me with Mag and Titan Drago on Gaming After Dark on Tuesdays. Now, the last couple of weeks, let me tell you, have been absolutely dynamite over there. We've been having a ton of fun, and it shows. And just a fun show with game topics, but a lot of crazy language and innuendo and some weird characters. Yeah, it's a place to go if you definitely want to check out a podcast that isn't normal per se. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but none of us are normal over there. I hold it back as good as I can for this one, but but anyway, guys, thanks so much for the support. We will see you again next Sunday. Until then, everybody have fun, keep it real, stay gaming, and hopefully get some time in, because my God, the games are coming fast and furious. Game Pass has been loaded. I am so far behind in my backlog right now. Not even funny. Like, I want to get back to Mass Effect. That'll probably what I'll play later if I can get the time. So until then, guys, take care. We'll see you on the next one.
Catch you guys next time.
Crimson Sky is a flight sim.
Bye.